touch that. But if I did, shoot, I'd take it. I'd take your yams, take your nose, take your drink, take everything. All right, y'all. We give praise and stage, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Look at popping in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures. For in them you think you have eternal life. And they which testified me. And you would not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receives honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my word? Pray be to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Let's get over here, man. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 3. Second Peter chapter 3, verse 3. Shalom, Brother Reynolds. And shalom, Jay. Let me make that verse 4. 2 Peter 3 and 4. And saying, where's the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as from the beginning of the creation. For this they willingly are ignorant of by the word Elohim, the Shamahim were of old in the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished. But the Shamahim and their rats, which are now by the same word are kept in store, reserved under fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to us ward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the Shamahim shall pass away with a great noise, and elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Then all these things shall be dissolved. What manner you to be in all Kadash conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of Elohim, wherein the Shamahim being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for a new Shamahim and a new Arats, wherein dwell righteousness. Shalom, man. Hey, man, each what that sample was at the end of Thank You, man. What song that was? I know that song. But it ain't coming to mind. I ain't never had nothing with mulberries in it. Hey, Muffin, bring me a paper towel with haste. Because my hand's greasy. At the end of the song, at the end of Thank You. Well, not at the end of it, I should say, but the sample of the vocals on Thank You. That's what I should say. John 5:39. I think that's good. I did. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna move. I ain't tired. My mind go in and out. You know what? D had asked about something. I gave her some info on it. I hit you off of that right now because I'm trying to also remember where we stopped at on Wednesday. I don't remember that either. But whatever sample tone used for Thank You. Yes, sir. That's a bet. Isaiah 42 and 18. Hear you deaf, look you blind, that you might see. You know what we're gonna have to do with that, right? Get the likes up on YouTube for me if you would, please. And if you would be so inclined on Clubhouse to share the room, if you would. I don't really give a damn about Clubhouse. But YouTube, get the likes up, though. What you laughing at? Shalom, Jay the Goat. You know what I'm talking about? I just was talking to them boy about, man, The next project, man, that I want all y'all boys on, man. I'm gonna plug y'all in. I didn't figure out the name should just be volume 2 of the last one. Don't make no sense trying to be extra special. But yeah, give me Matthew 11. No, excuse me, Matthew 13 and Matthew 13 and 9. Matthew 13 and 9. I just want you to see what he said right here in verse 18. He said, "Hear you deaf and look you blind, that you may see." Come on with it, man. Matthew 13 and 9.
Who have ears to hear, let him hear. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speak you unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of Shamahim, but to them it is not given. Whosoever have to him shall be given, he shall have more abundance, but whosoever have not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath.
Gonna take what you got.
Therefore speak I to them in parables.
Speak to them in what?
Parables.
That's right.
Because they seeing, see not.
Because they see and they what?
See not.
And hear.
They hear not.
And he say, "Hear you deaf?
Neither do they understand.
Look you blind?" So he trying to tell you, how about you hear the word and how about you see it? Just on general principle, man. Give me Job 42 and 8.
Therefore take unto you now 7 bullocks and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job.
My bad, make it verse 3.
Who is he that high counsel without knowledge? Therefore have I uttered that I understood not, things too wonderful for me, which I knew not. Here I beseech you, and I will speak. I will demand of you, and will declare you unto me.
What's that?
I have heard of you by the hearing of the ear.
I've heard of you by the hearing of the ear.
But now my eyes see you.
Now my eyes what?
See you.
So you're going to have faith come by hearing, and hearing come by the word. Just on general principle. Give me Deuteronomy 30 and 15. Give me 10. Tell me what 10 said.
If you shall hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim to keep his commandments and his statutes which are written in this book of the law, if you turn unto Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul.
If you do what?
Turn unto Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul.
Shalom, Brother Ella.
For this commandment which I command you this day is not hidden from you, neither far.
It's not what?
Off. Hidden from you.
It's not what?
Hidden from you.
Come on.
Neither is it far off.
It ain't what?
Far off.
Go ahead.
It is not in Shamahim that you should say, Who shall go up for us to Shamahim?
Say who it is going to go up to heaven and bring Hamashiach down.
That we may hear it and do it. Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, Who shall go over the sea for us?
Who gonna go under the earth and bring Hamashiach again from the dead?
Bring it unto us that we may hear it and do it.
Shalom, Sister Kelly.
But the word very near unto you.
It's very what?
Near unto you.
Where is that?
In your mouth.
In your where?
In your mouth.
In your where?
In your mouth.
And where is it at?
In your heart.
In your where?
In your heart.
Not in your inward part.
In your heart. That you may do it.
That you may what?
Do it.
And like Paul said in Romans 10, man, it's the word of faith which we preach. You know what I'm talking about? It's the word of faith in which we preach. You know what I'm talking about? Law bear witness to it. Come on back over here to Isaiah 42. I'm just focusing on that because what did he say? Hear you deaf and look you blind that you may see. See, they were going back and forth earlier. I fell asleep on it. Thank Lord. Man, little Trad called me, man, to ask me about something else, which I'm trying to remember what we were talking about. And that's escaping my brain at this particular moment. You know what I'm talking about? You know, they say just going back and forth with that y'all Judah dude and his people, and they women. And I'm wondering why all these grown men on going back and forth with women. Like, you supposed to tell the women, man, go get your Messiah then. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about why y'all believe he the Messiah. Go get that nigga. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want to talk to you. And that ain't even no disrespect just because they women. Because I tell the people, dude, man, go get your master, man. I don't want to talk to you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to you for. You know what I'm talking about? You just a goofy saying he the Messiah. But it just be funny to me because why y'all giving this nigga a platform to talk? You know what I'm saying? Like, for what? Why y'all entertain this? Then, of course, everybody been excited because there's been bruise on Jason Whitlock's show, like that's CNN. No disrespect to Jason Whitlock. Some niggas don't fool with him. I ain't never had a problem with him. I ain't got to have a problem with it because he say something you don't like. See, black people feel like you're supposed to be pro-black about every matter and everything. You can't say nothing about no black folks about nothing, or you a coon. You really the coon because you ain't no different than the women you complain about, talking about the sisterhood don't hold nobody accountable and niggas can do no wrong. Because put it this way, right? Because I know a lot of people was upset with him about Kobe. Let's just say, instance, will somebody punch you in the eye, boy?
For me?
We look like you got a black eye, boy. Oh, that's it. I wouldn't even be in front of it. I'm like, what this nigga got hit now? What's going on? You say you had that person out again? Michael, you abusing that boy behind closed doors? You look like you a fighter. Yeah, that's what you say. You look like when you see it. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, that boy said that's cap. You look like you in the house. I want my damn snap. And you go to hit people. You abusing that boy. That man said that's cap. You abusing that man. So if it was Saturday, it wouldn't be no. I mean, if it was Sunday, it wouldn't be the truth, huh? Because you say you ain't beat him today. You lying. You don't walk. You look like you like to walk around the street, holding hands, looking in his face, goofy. She do. It's okay. It's okay if you one of them Hallmark movie ladies. It's okay. That's what you like. Lifetime movies, real sappy, like your cousin in there. Yeah. And then you beat him up after the movie go off. Right. Come over here, verse 19. Say, who blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger I sent? Who blind as perfect and blind as Yahuwah's servant? Now, this is the question I want y'all to answer me. What does this mean when he says his servant is blind and deaf? Think about it before you answer. It ain't even that difficult to answer, right? I'm going to give you the words for it, though. Don't overthink this because it's not as deep as you might be trying to make it out in your mind. I promise it ain't. Blind, Ivray, blind physically or blind figuratively. Of course, you know it's going to be the same type of thing. I'll give you messenger and all the rest of that stuff if you like. Death, karashe, death, literally or spiritually. Perfect in this particular passage. Shalom, which you know is to be in a covenant of peace, to be at peace, to live in peace. And blind, and these remember now, it say Yahuwah servant is blind. Y'all know servant is a bed. So what y'all think this could mean? Of course, messenger is Malak. Messenger representative. Y'all got any idea for that? What y'all think this could mean? Boom! You in the back hiding and gliding. What happened? What you say? He said, who is blind but my servant, or as deaf as my messenger I sent? Who is blind as perfect and blind as Yahuwah's servant? Because he just said, hear you deaf and look you blind that you may see. Y'all got something for me? If you don't, it's okay. This is what I want you to do, Civic. I want you to go to John chapter 9. I want you to get verse 35. John 9:35. Yes. Oh no, what does that mean? How would you explain it? Could you explain it? Is it possible to be explained? John 9:35.
Yahusha heard that they cast him out, and when he had found him, he said unto him,
what he said?
Do you believe on the Son of Allah?
You believe the Son of Elohim?
He answered and said, who is he, Lord, that I might believe on him?
Who is he that I might believe on him?
And Yahusha said unto him,
what he told him?
You have both seen him, and it is he that talketh with you.
You both seen him, and I'm talking to you.
And he said, Lord, I believe, and he worshipped him.
He what?
He worshipped him.
I thought they didn't worship the Lord.
He worshipped him.
That's what he did.
And Yahusha said, for judgment I am coming to this world.
For what?
For judgment I am coming to this world.
For what purpose?
That they which see not might see.
That they that see not might what?
See.
And they that are blind?
Or they that which see might be
made blind. So listen, right? He said, hear you deaf and look you blind that you might see. So if they blind, that means he came to give sight to those that are blind, right? So why is he coming to give sight to those that are blind? Because those would be the ones that repent. But he said, who is blind? My servant. Or deaf as my messenger that I send. Or blind as the one who's in covenant in peace, and blind as Yahuwah's servant. What would make him blind? Why would he be blind? Why would he hear? I'll show you. I'll tell you. Isaiah 11:1. After that, John 7 and 14. Isaiah 11:1.
And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse.
Come forth what?
A rod out of the stem of Jesse.
Okay.
And a branch shall grow out of his roots.
That's right.
And the Ruach of Yahuwah shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge, and of the fear of Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
It shall make the sight of his eyes.
That means he be blind. Because he's not going to judge after the sight of his eyes. Neither is he going to what?
Reprove after the hearing of his ears.
So that would mean he'd be deaf too. Go ahead.
But with righteousness shall he judge the poor.
With what?
With righteousness.
With what?
Righteousness. And reprove with the equity of mature, that is a level place.
Remember we just talked about
uprightness.
We talked about that on Wednesday in that Proverbs 1, did we not? When we talking about wisdom, what's the only way you can get wisdom, Doris? What did we talk about on Wednesday is the only way that a person can actually accrue and acquire wisdom. That nigga wasn't listening.
Wait. Is it?
No, Jay the Ghost just said it. Being trained. You can know the word and not be trained. You know how we know? Because we watched two niggas on Jason Whitlock's show who know the word, and clearly they were not trained. You know what I'm saying? And I say that with all due respect, humbly. All due respect. That junk was hot garbage. You know what I'm saying? You know what I junk be hot garbage? Tell you something. We were talking about this earlier. I was telling Pat the same thing. I told Will and Stanley the same. See, you know, we different, right? We got some congregations, and don't get this twisted, right? What I'm about to say. Because I ain't got no problem with no praise and worship whatsoever. You know what I'm talking about? But you got some congregations, man, they will praise and worship for an hour and 45 minutes and go through the word for 30. You know why? The people don't want to hear no word. You know what I'm talking about? Because see, this is the thing, right? This is how I look at it. We could look at it in the book of Nehemiah, right? If we was to go an hour and a half praise and worship, then we got to go at least an hour and a half through the word. Have to. Because you're going to have to give the same amount of time to praise and worship to the preaching of the word. Because the praise and worship is good. The preaching of the gospel is better. You know why? Because it's the gospel of Mashiach which gonna save a man. We ain't putting down no praise and worship. I ain't got no problem with it. See, you got some brews, they got a problem with it. You know what I'm talking about? Because they say it feels like you in the Christian church. It just a goof. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't got no problem with nobody who want to play any instruments or make a joyful noise to Yahuwah. You make it. You sing it. You play it. You know what I'm saying? And we could do that. But we're going to get this work, though. You know what I'm talking about? Let me show you what I'm talking about in the book of Nehemiah. You know what I'm saying? I've been talking about it all day long. That's right, Brother Ellis. I see. I think it's Nehemiah 8 that I want. I just want you to know we ain't got no problem with going with no praise and worship. Because some groups do. We ain't got no problem with it. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot for what I want in Nehemiah 8, because I'm looking right at it right now. Matter of fact, just start at Nehemiah 8:1 man, and I'll tell you how to move around.
And all the people gathered themselves together as one man.
As what? The people gathered themselves together as what?
One man.
As what?
One man.
One body, one ruach, one faith, one immersion, one Elohim in all and through you all. Now, see, I'm trying to work towards something. As they say, we look for a new heaven and earth where righteousness dwell, because we look at this according to the promise. So before we even get to some creation stuff, I got to deal with some other stuff first. You know what I'm saying? Continue, good sir.
Into the street that was before the water gate.
That's right.
And they spake unto Ezra the scribe, bring the book of the law of Moses.
That's right.
Which Yahuwah had commanded to Yasharah. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and all that could hear with understanding upon the first day of the 7th month.
The first what?
First day of the 7th month.
So this was on trumpets. Continue.
And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate from the morning until midday.
He read from where?
From morning until midday.
He read from where?
Morning until midday.
Y'all understand how long that is? That's about 6 hours. And you niggas be tapping out after about an hour and a half too. They was out there for 6 hours. Morning to read it again for the top of verse 3, man. Matter of fact, back it up and read verse 2 again. I didn't want you to understand why we focus on going through the text like we focus on going through the text. You understand? But I just want you to don't get it twisted now. We ain't got no problem with no praise and worship.
And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation.
They brought the what?
The law before the congregation, both for men and women.
At all out there, they brought them out there who can hear with understanding so they could get some insight into the word.
Upon the first day of the 7th month.
And they read
therein before the street that was before the water gate.
From the morning
until midday.
Till when?
Midday.
Till when?
Midday.
Before
the men and the women
and those
that could understand
in the ears
of all the people
that were attentive
unto the book of the law.
So he said that was out there for everybody who wanted to hear the word. Come on, verse 4, man.
And Ezra the scribe stood upon a pulpit of wood, which they had made for the purpose. And beside him stood Matthiah, and Shema, and Ananiah, and Uriah,
and Hilkiah,
and Messiah on his right hand.
And on his left, Matthiah,
Mishael,
Malchiah,
Hashum,
Hashbaddanah,
Zechariah,
and Meshullam.
And Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people.
That's right.
And when he opened it, all the people stood up.
What they said?
And Ezra, Baruch Yahuwah, the great Elohim.
That's right.
People answered, Amen, amen, with lifting up their hands.
And they bowed their heads.
And worship Yahuwah.
With their faces.
To the ground.
And Yahusha.
And Benai.
And Sherebiah.
Jamin.
And Akub.
Shabbathiah,
and Hodiah,
Messiah,
and Kalida, and Josabad, and Peliah,
and the Levites,
and the who?
The Levites
calls the people
to understand the law.
He calls the people to do what?
Understand the law.
To do what?
Understand the law.
That's the whole purpose why we here. Now, when Mashiach rose from the dead, what did it say he calls them to do? To understand the scriptures. That's the point. That's why we go through the book the way that we go through it. Listen to that part again. He calls the people to do what?
Understand the law.
To do what?
Understand the law.
And the people
stood in their place.
So they read
in the book and the law of Elohim distinctly
and gave sense.
And calls to understand the reading.
To do what?
Understand the reading.
Now I want you to go back to verse 7, right? I want you to give them understand by definition. This was real fruit in him, man.
As to discern, understand.
No, the word. Give me the word.
Oh. And
the same word we were talking about in Proverbs the other day. And it calls it giving what? The what? Discernment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Understanding, right? Mm-hmm. Insight. Now drop down to verse 8 and give them sense, understand, and reading.
L for sense, that is prudence, insight, and understanding.
So look at this here, right? We talked about Sakel the other day. That's to be circumspect.
And then understand is then again.
And then understand. So now you because circumspect, that's the way that you operate. So you have insight to know how to operate, reading by definition. So they cause them to that's the whole purpose. See, when it comes to a lot of us, man, we ain't really trying to understand the word. Let me tell you something real, man. Tell you something real. Because we done had people say subliminal shots about how we get down. You know what I'm talking about? It's yeah. We get down 3 times a week and quite possibly might have 2 hours worth of reading 3 times a week. And people think that ain't hitting on that. That's why these dumb niggas don't understand the word. You know what I'm talking about? Did I tell y'all? I think I did mention that. What that sister told me, man. Instead of me using Numbers 30, talking about that she can sin, and the sin fall on her, trying to make it like a vow, telling her that he can take a second wife and they can participate in lesbian activity. You know what I'm talking about? As long as what she say, as long as he there. That's what this man told her. See, y'all looking crazy, but you know why niggas do stuff like that? Because people don't know the word. Let me tell you something, right? See, everybody don't have a love for the word. What do I mean by that? Everybody don't like to open up the text and go through it. See, everybody don't get joy of going through the word and searching that book out. You know what I'm talking about? Give me Numbers 21 and 9 so you can see what I'm talking about. Give me verse 6 on general principle, because that's what coming to my mind. Numbers 21 and 6. We're going to come right back to Nehemiah 8. Run it. Numbers 21 and 6.
And Yahuwah sent fiery serpents among the people.
He sent what?
Fiery serpents among the people.
That's right.
And they bit the people, and much people of Yasharal died.
You don't understand that all us got bit by sin and we dead?
Therefore the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned.
Yeah, what?
Sinned.
Come on.
For we have spoken against Yahuwah and against you.
Woo!
Pray unto Yahuwah that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people.
He said that the Hebrew might do what? Take away the serpents. Listen to him.
And Yahuwah said unto Moses, make you a fiery serpent.
Make you a what?
A fiery serpent.
So guess what? Since death came by sin, this is why Mashiach became like a serpent, so he could be seen. Remember what he said? He said, just like Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so much what? The Son of Man must be lifted up. Because Elohim so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, so nobody would perish. You understand? See, a lot of these rules, man, they just be running their mouth, man. You know what I'm talking about? And see, it's like this here, because I know it's going to be a old goofy, you know what I'm saying, broke back mountain looking nigga, going to be feeling like, oh, y'all hating on them boy. Man, the one thing for certain, the two things for sure. If a nigga hating on somebody preaching the word, that nigga got a vagina between his legs. But one thing for certain, the two things for sure. If your work is trash, your work is trash. And a lot of these dudes is trash. And you know why I can say these dudes is trash? It's not because I preach the word. It's because by the grace of Elohim, I know the word. So I know the word when I hear it. I know who got it and who don't when I hear it. It ain't because I ain't have to preach nan type of word. But if I know the word, you should know somebody who got it and somebody who don't. I don't care because a nigga popular. See, these niggas acting like we in high school. Who give a damn who popular? Man, your life on the line, man. Your life on the line, man. And this ain't nothing about nobody who preached the word personally, because we don't know these men. See, that's the other thing that niggas be getting on too. Why would a nigga have an issue with a nigga they don't know? I don't know this nigga. He might be cool. He might be a nigga. Hey, man, I can kick it with you all day long. But the dope is trash. Y'all ever, when y'all was out here buying weed, you ever knew a nigga who sold trash weed, but he was cool? You ain't had no problem with it. I ain't finna cop from you though. But you my nigga, shoot, I might smoke one with you. I got these dubs on me. Shoot, I got these dubs in my pocket. You ain't gonna cop none? Shoot, I might as well roll up that dirt over there and smoke that. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want that. But you know the reason why I mentioned that is because a lot of people aren't men. I'm gonna tell you something, right? Because I ain't listened to the second Jason Whitlock episode, so I can't really speak on that. You know what I'm talking about? But we listened to a good amount of the first one. And that junk with Nate, that junk was bad, bro. I ain't gonna tell you no lie, that junk was bad. And I'm talking about it was bad because it was embarrassing. And it wasn't embarrassing to us as Israelites. It's just embarrassing to somebody who, if you say you were a preacher, that was embarrassing, bro. Let me tell y'all something real, man, especially on platforms like that. When Yahuwah, whether you, regardless of what the reason and intent, that's what we're going to do, praise God. No matter the reason and intent, Yahuwah let something go down. If you get an opportunity to magnify, and I'm doing this for a reason, to magnify Yahuwah's name, especially, now Jason Whitlock is not like network TV, but he got a good following on YouTube. You know what I'm talking about? And you got an opportunity to magnify Yahuwah's name, you got to maximize that. She said she should have got Gino. Gino would have been on that class. You know what I'm talking about? You got to maximize that. Now, granted, he brought both of these gentlemen. He brought Pastor Dow, he brought Bishop Nathaniel on there to support their claims about us being Israelites. So I can understand why their talking points would be towards that. Me personally, I would have took that as an opportunity to preach the gospel to any and everybody who was watching that show live and anybody who would watch it back later. I wouldn't even care about defending if we Israelites or not. That's not to knock them because I'm a different type of individual. I know why they were speaking the way that they were speaking. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's what he brought them on there for. I'm telling y'all, because of course, most of us may never have an opportunity to get on a platform like that. But I'm telling y'all, when you got an opportunity to magnify Yahuwah's name, maximize that. Don't try to defend no position. Don't try to prove to nobody we this or we that. Take the opportunity to magnify his name. You know what I'm talking about? Take that opportunity and maximize that. Let me see what we got. He said, yeah, Gino is wild. Because she said Gino has been, yeah, definitely. And with definitely, and I looked at it a little bit at Gino on there with Jesse Lee, and Jesse Lee usually used to do who don't know nothing about the word, and he ain't know what to do with Gino. You know what I'm talking about? See, it was some brews that went on Jesse Lee's show one time, contrading on him, and they embarrassed themselves. And the reason why they did it is because he didn't agree with what Nate was talking about excluding other people. He said he didn't agree with that. He wanted to clean that up. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand that. I ain't really look at the rest of it because I don't even want to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Because I already felt like both of them boys' work was trash before now. Because I've known of them of a long time, at least a decade. You know what I'm saying? It's only a handful of dudes I done heard with the word that's like they nice. You know what I'm saying? Dare say the same dude that went on Whitlock show was on Jesse Lee. And he messed up bad. Oh, the football. Oh, yeah. See, I was telling Trav about that. It's two brothers in their congregation that were top level NFL defensive ends. I didn't even know that the brother who played for the Packers, that Sports Illustrated had wrote an article about him and Dow saying that he was in the cult. Because the brother who played for the Packers, Kabir Bajavia Miller, that dude's in the Packers Ring of Honor. You know, like how we got the Jaguar, you got the players' names, and that brother name in the Ring of Honor. That brother only played like 9 years, and he one of the best defensive ends in the history of the Green Bay Packers. You know what I'm talking about? Played his whole 9 years there. And then you got Robert Mathis, who played for the Colts. If you know anything about the Colts, Robert Mathis was a bad man. You know what I'm talking about? He was a bad man. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no. I was telling Trav, I said, yeah, brother, top 20 all-time NFL sack. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no. Like, this ain't no, oh, he got NFL players, and then I'm like, nah, these dudes here, top of the line. But sometimes brothers get in them in the platform, man, and they be focused on defending what they think people gonna attack instead of just magnifying. And I know how that can happen because everybody done probably fell into that trap once or twice. You ain't even got to be on no platform like them brothers be on. What I'm mentioning that for is don't get caught in that trap of feeling you have to defend yourself against what these people believe we doing or what they think we believe and magnify Yahuwah, and you can shut their mouth. Now, see, Whitlock wasn't doing that. He trying to understand where them was coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, Dowd and they came on there the other night because they didn't agree with Nate. Nate was horrible. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hear some comedy, then just cut that on because you're gonna be laughing. Because when that man say, man, the enemy is within, and the way that man went through Deuteronomy 28, when this man was talking about the greatest enemy that a man faces is his own flesh, that thing was bad, yo. It was bad. You know, I normally don't speak on things in this nation, but that was bad. And the reason why it's bad, because it causes people to look at us and say, if you preaching the word like this, I don't want to listen to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds like you don't know what you're talking about. Because you're focused on your point of view instead of just magnifying Yahuwah. See, don't get focused on your point of view. Magnify Yahuwah. That's what we be messing up at. And we might be able to touch a little bit more here and touch a little bit more there. But if you more focused on, I got to prove to these people why we Israelites, or prove why polygyny is good, or prove why the nations are our enemies, and all that type of stuff, you're missing an opportunity for Yahuwah's name to be exalted. Never miss an opportunity for you. You can deal with what they're asking you like that and still magnify Yahuwah's name at the same time instead of getting caught up and trying to prove your doctrine. But I understand, though, because Brews get attacked so much, they feel like we got to defend everything that we profess. You don't really have to. You know what I'm saying? And if we just slow down. Now, see, Dow did something different that we were talking about what Nate should have did. See, Nate was just reading out the book instead of talking to him and let the book come out. And the little bit that I see, Dow just let the book that he was talking come out versus Deuteronomy, because this nigga the nigga literally called for a reader, bro. The nigga literally called for a reader. While Nate was talking, the man literally said, hey, get me Deuteronomy. He said, oh, I forgot. I'm reading for myself. He literally did that. We're like, come on, bro. That means that you getting so caught up on putting on a show, having a conversation. Because this man's trying to understand what you believe. You know what I'm saying? Dow didn't do that. Dow just talked to him. You know what I'm saying? And let what word he spoke, he just let that come out. Again, this is my point of view of somebody who believed the word and watching two men who are very well known and people got love for them. You know what I'm saying? And looking at that in necessity. Like, because if I was to look at the both of them and I ain't know no word, I'd have to go with the latter, the former, because to me it looked like you putting on a performance. You know what I'm saying? Versus trying to just have a give and take. Yeah, this is what we believe. This is why we believe. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't with no nigga trying to. If I want to see somebody perform, you can go see Lil Bow Wow. You like Lil Bow Wow, don't you? I know you had little Bow Wow posters at your house. Dang, she said you did.
Not. I had music. I was
So you like two sisters and an apostle. Yeah, I wouldn't say Sister Kelly it was a lack of maturity. I would say from my perspective, my personal opinion, it would more so like I'm trying to prove that we the Israelites from Deuteronomy 28, and anything that you say, I'm gonna bring it back to Deuteronomy 28 to prove that we the people of the book. That's all Nate was focused on. And we listened to probably about a good 30 to 45 minutes of the hour and a half interview that they had. Cause I couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? That don't make my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Just always take the opportunity to magnify you. What we got?
Verse 21 and
21 or what?
8.
21 and 8 of what book?
Numbers.
Number 21 and 8.
And Yahuwah said unto Moses, make you a fiery serpent and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he look upon it, shall live.
That's right.
And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived.
He said, if sin had bitten any man, if he looked on Yahushua, he'll live. Let me show you why he said that, right? Zechariah 12 and 10. Listen to him. Yeah, I understand, Sister Kelly. It was bad, man. It was bad. Because I know some people be mad. They be thinking some people might be mad because these dudes getting on these people's platform. And they like mad for this is an opportunity for the name of Yahuwah to be exalted. You know what I'm talking about? And sometimes I don't think that we take that opportunity to do that, which is unfortunate. That let's say, like my wife said, and what like Jada Gold mentioned, that you would mention somebody who don't even prescribe to be a Hebrew, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He on the same type of time that we on. So, except for a few different things here and there. So he gonna come in and do the same thing. We're gonna try to magnify the Lord. We ain't here nothing to prove that my doctrine is right. You know what I'm saying? It's been a couple times he done seen Gino on there talking to them people about, oh, they ain't like the way he talked about how women dress. And the way that they thought he was going to talk to them is not how he talked to them. Because a lot of people, because people look at me the same way, they think how you preach is how you talk to people. You know what I'm saying? We're preaching the word, and it's not that you're putting on a performance while you preach it. You're just preaching. But if I'm talking to you in a conversation, I'm not going to talk to you like how I preach. That doesn't even make any sense. You know what I'm saying? But that's how people think. Because he didn't come in and say defend it. He gave them certain logic. This is what we believe. And he let them know this is what we believe who in the word. I ain't even talking about y'all. I'm talking about women who say this is what they believe. Why would I be talking about women looking like a $2 slut and I know she don't believe the word? I ain't talking to you. But a woman who believes the word, I'm talking to her. She don't need to be walking around here with some skin tight clothes on. I don't need to see the shape of your vaginal area. I don't need to see the top of your titty, the side of your titty. I don't need to see none of that. You know what I'm talking about? That's for women who in the word. But see, you know, a lot of people have a problem with making that separation when they, because yes, the word is for everybody and everybody got to fall into it. But if I'm rebuking, I'm not rebuking people outside the house. They already judged. That's none of my concern. I have to rebuke the people who inside the house. You know what I'm saying? Because if you in my house looking like a hoe, I need to let you know you looking like a hoe. Do you know what I'm talking about? What's wrong with you? I don't need to see your belly button. You want to look like a $2 slut? Then go outside the house and look like a $2 slut. But this is what I'm going to tell you. All you got to do is look at yourself and say, if you walk through the gates of the house of Yahuwah, you think he'll let you in like that? That's the only question you got to ask yourself. You know what I'm talking about? And that ain't just for no women neither. You know, we done told the brother that too. Don't come to this man's house making that foul junk you got going on. You around here telling lies, beating your beat. You know what I'm talking about? Doing whatever it is you got going on. And you think you going to come in that man's house and bring that in there? I forgot what he said in Jeremiah 7. You think you delivered to do all this stuff in my house? Commit adultery, you know what I'm talking about, worshiping Baal and doing all this here. You think you delivered to come in my house and do that? You out there bad in mind. You crazy in your scalp. And that's the point of what we were talking about when we was with man's man. Like when a man over a congregation he's a father, that's his house. That's the rules of his house. When see this son, right when I first got out of prison, man, I hadn't even done on nowhere. I told you before. You know, look up on young. You know what I'm saying? She got some little hot shorts on. I told her you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Some of y'all done put on some horrid clothes in your day, and not damn man in your family looked at you and told you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Why you going out the door looking like that? What's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody never told you that. So guess what ends up happening? You become emboldened. Like this is the proper way to adorn yourself. You see what I'm talking about?
No, don't.
You don't see nothing wrong with it. I ain't with it. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't with it. Absolutely not. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, good sir. Why I got you?
Zechariah 12 and 10.
Zechariah 12 and 10. Listen to him.
And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They shall mourn for him.
They shall do what?
Mourn for him.
As a man is in bitterness.
And as one mourn, it shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is bit in bitterness for his firstborn.
Didn't he say the Son of Man to be lifted up, and when he be lifted up, to draw all unto him? You're gonna have to look at. Didn't he say, "Look unto me, and be ye saved"? Ah, praise God. Come on back over here, man. The number 21. Don't pay me no mind, man. I got love for all the brothers who preach the word. Don't get me wrong. Even if they trash, who are still being magnified. Even if they don't trash you, who are still being magnified. When I say the don't trash, meaning that their ability to understand and explain the text is lacking. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all just don't understand. Like they said, boy, I love the word, so I don't care who preaches. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be no, I don't like that nigga. So I ain't gonna say he can preach the word. That means nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? You preaching right, you all right with me. But if that junk sucks, well, that junk sucks. You know what I'm saying? You know the reason why I say this here, right? If you listen to somebody preach and your spirit don't get excited, your heart don't get put on fire, and you ready to get up and leave, that either means you don't believe the word or what they giving you, it ain't doing nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? And I be listening to dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't listen to dudes all the time, but if I catch something, I listen to dudes, see what they be on, man. That junk be, dang. That's ugly. And the reason why I say that, because look at all the people out here who everybody dealing with the word, but don't nobody seem to understand it. Don't nobody to be able to seem to answer certain questions. You know what I'm saying? And that's what make people not want to fool with the text. But come on with it, man.
And Moses made a serpent of brass. And
you in Numbers 21 and what?
9.
21 and 9.
And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole, and it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived.
He lived.
And the children of Yasharal set forward and pitched in the both. And they journeyed from a both and pitched at Jebarim in the wilderness, which is before Moab, toward the sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
From thence they removed and pitched in the red.
Mm-hmm.
Thence they removed from the other side of which is in the wilderness, and come on to the Amorites.
Come on.
For Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites.
Come on.
Wherefore it is said in the book of the wars of Yahuwah.
That's right.
What he did in the Red Sea and in the brooks of Arnon.
Listen to him.
And at the stream of the brooks that go down to the dwelling of Ar,
what they
lie
do?
Upon the border of Moab, and from thence went to Beer, that is the well that whereof Yahuwah spake unto Moses.
He said they went to this well. What they did at this well?
Gather the people together, and I will give them water.
I'll give them what?
Water.
Come on.
Then Yasharal digged the well.
They did what with the well?
Digged the well.
And what else?
The nobles of the people digged it by the direction of the lawgiver.
By the direction of who?
The lawgiver.
Y'all, I want y'all right now to go look up that word dig in Hebrew. I guarantee you, it ain't gonna mean what you think it means. Look that word up, y'all.
You gave it to us before. Don't it mean like to search out or something?
It mean to search out. They searched out the well. So what did it mean if they searching out the well? It said they searched out. It said the princes did it right by the direction of who?
The lawgiver.
Give them direction by definition. It ain't even there. So he said he said by the lawgiver. Give him the word for lawgiver. Oh, you feeling stuffy?
That is to, the word is kakak, that is to cut out, decree, inscribe, set, engrave, portray, or govern.
Remember that, right? We didn't talk about kakak. That's the same word for lawgiver between his feet in Genesis 49. That's the same word for lawgiver in Isaiah 33. Because you know Judah wasn't no lawgiver. When Judah gave the law? Not never. You know what I'm talking about? So it's pertaining to you to Mashiach. And they say they dig that out by direction of he that governs, because that would be in representative of Moses. And Moses and Yahushua is a prophet like unto Moses. So why is that important? You got to search out that word, man. And where did they search it out? In the well. And what's in the well? Where there's the water at, or in the grave. So we search it out because Mashiach has went down in the grave and rose again, so we can understand the reading that we were talking about in Nehemiah.
The well is well, pit, or spring.
We already know it. And you know what I'm talking about? And we can go right there to Revelation, Zechariah 13, and he'll tell you about a pit. Hear to him, 13:1. You living dangerously, ain't you?
And that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David, to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness.
There'll be a fountain for sin and uncleanness.
And it shall come to pass in that day, say Yahuwah.
That's good. Why do you think they had to dig in that well? From the direction of the lawgiver. Praise God. Come on back over here, man. Nehemiah 8. I'm overlooking what I actually came to Nehemiah for to begin with. Now, some people going to agree with what we talk about, and some people ain't. And guess what? I ain't going to care either way. Because, like, who will be magnified? That's what all that really matters. That's Nehemiah 9. That's what I would. I'm already over there. Yeah. Nehemiah 9:1, y'all. Come look at it.
Now, the 24th day of this month.
No, I got you. I'm trying to get on. Tripping. Nehemiah 9:1. In the 24th day of this month, the sons of Yasharah will assemble with fasting, with sackcloth, and earth upon them. I just want y'all to understand what is just concluded if it's the 24th day of the month. Of course, we didn't read it all in Nehemiah 8, but we noted that they started on the first day of what month? The 7th month. We didn't read all to it, but they began to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So they began this fast after Tabernacles had been completed, 3 days afterwards. 3 days afterwards. There's some stuff we might talk about with Tabernacles that Trad asked me about, but I just put this on now because I really don't feel like going through all this here, right? You know, it's about that time where people finna keep Hanukkah, right? Y'all know that, right? Feast of Dedication, says something called it. We don't observe the Feast of Dedication. I don't knock nobody who do. You know what I'm talking about? We don't. Because we're not in the apocrypha dealing with that. So we just don't do it. So some brothers, they'll read that John 10, right? John 10:22. Y'all know what John 10:22 say? It was the Feast of Dedication and it was winter. Read it for them.
And it was at Jerusalem, the Feast of the Dedication, and it was winter.
See, brothers, some brothers will read that, right? And they'll be like, see, they kept Hanukkah like in Maccabees. But y'all know that's not the Feast of Dedication, right? Not the one in Maccabees. When is the Feast of Dedication in Maccabees done? In Adar. Y'all know what month Adar is? That's the month you keep Purim in. You know what month that is? That's the 12th month. That's the last month of the year. But see, we actually go in the book of Chronicles and you'll see Solomon keeping the Feast of Dedication. And you know what day he kept it on? You know what day he kept it on? Who can tell me what day and month Solomon in the book of Chronicles kept the Feast of Dedication? She said, who? I thought you just said March the 1st. I did, nigga. And you get nigga with me? In my house. The negacity. The negacity. Who can tell me? You say, Seth? Yeah, but what feast is it though? Come on, stand in the pool, got it out for you. 2 Chronicles 7:5. You already should have known. Dedication in Hebrew translates to what? Sanctified. Set apart. 2 Chronicles 7:5.
And King Solomon offered a sacrifice of 20 and 2,000 oxen.
That's right.
And 120,000 sheep.
That's right.
So the king and all the people dedicated the house of Elohim.
They did what?
Dedicated the house of Elohim.
They did what?
Dedicated the house of Elohim.
When they did it? No, you ain't got it yet.
The priests waited on their offices. The Levites also with instruments of music of Yahuwah, which David the king had made to praise Yahuwah, because his mercy forever. When David praised by their ministry, and the priests sounded trumpets before them, and all Yasharal stood.
They all did what?
Stood.
He said when they sounded them trumpets, they all did what?
Stood.
And the dead of Mashiach arise first. You know what I'm talking about? But see, we're going to deal with this here, right? I'm going to tell you something real, man. And this more so, we can look at this twofold ways, right? That's right, Brother Francis. We can look at this twofold ways with this feast of dedication. So we might come back around with it later. We can look at the house being sanctified and dedicated when Mashiach returned. And you can look at the house being sanctified and dedicated in a new heaven and new earth. But we know when the Lord coming back. Tabernacle. You know what I'm talking about? Continue.
Moreover, Solomon hallowed the meat
right.
offerings and the fat.
Come on.
Also, at the same time, Solomon kept the feast 7 days.
He kept the what?
The feast 7 days.
How many days?
7 days.
Come on.
And all Yasharal with him. A very great congregation.
A very what?
Great congregation.
Come on with it.
From the entering of Hamath unto the river of Egypt.
That's right.
And then the 8th day, they made a solemn assembly.
And the what?
The 8th day, they made a solemn assembly.
Now, I want y'all to do something for me, right? I want you to go to Leviticus 23. And I want to see, does tabernacles have a solemn assembly? Because no other feast day got a solemn assembly, do it. And I want you to give me the Hebrew definition of solemn assembly. Leviticus 23, it's probably about verse 34 when they go to talking about
that's Atzaral, assembly, a solemn assembly, sacred or festive meeting.
A sacred or what?
Festive meeting.
There's only 3 sacred and festive meetings. Leviticus 23 and 34, man. Read it to me.
Speak unto the children of Yasharal, saying, the 15th day of the 7th month, the Feast of Tabernacles, 7 days unto Yahuwah. On the first, the holy convocation.
That's right.
You shall do no servile work. 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah.
That's right.
On the 8th day shall be a Kadash convocation unto you. You shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah. A solemn assembly.
A solemn what?
Assembly.
Oh my God.
You shall do no servile work.
Ain't that what it just said over here in verse 9, 2 Chronicles 7 and 9, the solemn assembly? Now let me read to you verse 10, right? And it says, and on the 23rd day of the 7th month, he sent the people away into their tents glad, merry in the heart for the goodness that Yahuwah had showed unto David and to Solomon and Yasharal his people. Let me ask you a question. When does tabernacles end? On the 22nd day of the month. You know what I'm talking about? Hanukkah is not during this time period. In the 7th month. It's during Adar, which is the 12th month. See, where a lot of brews get confused at is this. Genesis 8 and 22 tells you something. Read it for me. That's right. When we come back to Nehemiah 9, we got Isaiah 42, we need Job chapter 2, Hebrews chapter 11, and Genesis 1 if the Lord allows.
That's while the earth remains, seed time and harvest.
He said, while the earth what?
Remains.
While the earth what?
Remains.
Is what's going to remain?
Seed time and harvest.
And what else?
Cold and heat, summer and winter.
Cold and heat.
Summer and winter.
Cold and heat.
Summer and winter.
And what?
Day and night.
And what?
Day and night shall not cease.
Shall not what?
Cease.
Let me ask y'all a question. Who can explain to me how this is going to relate to what we're talking about? And this is what I'm going to do now. This is what I want you to do for me. I want y'all to think on Genesis 8 and 22 before y'all answer. I want you to read me Isaiah 65 and 17. After Isaiah 65 and 17, I want you to read me 2 Peter 3 and 12. But read Isaiah 65 and 17. Listen to it before you answer now. Isaiah 65 and 17 says what?
For behold, I create new Shamahim and a new earth.
He make a new what?
Shamahim and a new earth.
And a new what?
New earth.
A new what?
New earth.
Okay.
And the former shall not be remembered.
The what?
The former shall not be remembered.
So the old earth ain't going to be remembered. You remember what we were talking about in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, right? You ain't going to remember nothing from the old heaven and the old earth, right? Read that again for him, man. Make it stick.
For behold, I create new Shamahim and a new earth.
That's right.
The former shall not be remembered.
You ain't going to remember it.
Nor come into mind.
It's not coming in your mind. Now get me 2 Peter 3 and 10, man. Don't go at 12. Give me 3 and 10. Let Yahuwah be esteemed, man. Listen to him.
But the day of Yahuwah will come as a thief in the night.
As a who?
A thief in the night.
What's that's going to happen?
In the which Shamahim shall pass away with a great noise.
With a what?
A great noise.
And a fervent?
Shall the heat, the earth, all the works that are therein shall be burned up.
Come on.
And all these things shall be dissolved. What manner are you ought to be in Kadash conversation and
That's
godliness?
Right. That's right.
Looking for hastening in the coming of the day of Elohim, wherein the Shamahims being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we according to his promise
look for what?
New Shamahim and a new earth.
We look for a new what?
Shamahim and a new earth.
Okay.
Wherein dwell righteousness.
Where dwell. You know why Mashiach wouldn't be out there for feast of dedication? Because what are all our feast days that you got to come up? What do they deal with? Well, I'll tell you. When you deal with Passover, what you got to do in the middle of Passover, you got to wave the what? The sheaf for the first fruits, because that's a harvest festival. So you don't realize that, but that Passover is still a harvest festival. You understand? Then you come with Pentecost, and what is that? That's Feast of Weeks or Feast of what? First fruits, another harvest festival. Then when you come to Tabernacles, then what is that? That is what? Ingathering, another what? Harvest festival. Why would Mashiach be doing something for you to dedicate the temple that was defiled by a sinner when the temple was already defiled because you niggas had been sinning? That's why he was able to be in there and do it. Because remember, why was the temple rebuilt? Strictly for Mashiach. For him to come do what he was coming to do. Ain't that what Daniel told you? Ain't that what Daniel told you? That they said the temple will be rebuilt? So why would he be coming for a re-sanctification of a temple that he was going to come and destroy anyway? That just go to show that we don't actually believe the Lord. Why would he come and do that? There's no need for him to come sanctified. It was sanctified when Solomon built it. Then when Zerubbabel then rebuilt it after 46 years, it was re-sanctified again. He didn't need Judas Maccabees to sanctify it again. That had already been done. I don't need you for that. You understand what I'm telling you? Because guess what? After they did that, guess what happened? They were still under Roman occupation. So I ain't need you for that. But plus, just so y'all know, so you can understand this, how this go down. The tabernacle in the wilderness is Mashiach slain from the foundation of the world. The tabernacle that Solomon built is Mashiach manifested in the flesh. It being destroyed is Mashiach being killed. The tabernacle being rebuilt is Mashiach resurrected from the dead. Or you can look at it as the tabernacle that they destroyed, it was destroyed because of sin. It was rebuilt. And then you look at it when it was destroyed again when in 70 AD as the fact of there's no need for it because your Elohim is with you. Yes. Yes. Because remember in Haggai chapter 2, it tells you that the latter house will be in greater esteem than the former house. So see, the temple that Solomon built is the son of Elohim. Then it would destroy the one that rebuilt is the son of God. You know what I'm talking about? But that's another conversation. We just ain't talked about it in a long time. See, for some of you brothers and sisters, well, this your first time coming to this trap house, and you ain't been shopping here for a while. It's a lot of stuff that we just ain't, oh, this sounds good, so we're mentioning it now. No. Not recent. That was the temple's not recent. Or if I did, it might have been mentioned, but it wasn't in depth. It's been a while since we had like a singular solitary focus on that. It's been a little bit. I think what it was is you talking about when we was looking in 2 Chronicles 7 with him saying, the byword in the proverb, if you sin and I'll destroy this house. And we were looking at something in 1 Corinthians chapter. You know what I'm saying? But not bringing in, like briefly touching on Haggai, but it's been a while since we was a singular focus. But read that Genesis 8:22 one more time.
While the earth remain, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
Can anybody explain that to me? I want y'all to look at something, right? This is what I want y'all to do. Don't give me seed time and harvest time, Civic. And the reason why we came there, there's only 2 seasons, summer and winter. There's no fall, there's no spring to Yahuwah. I'm not saying that you sin it if you say it's springtime. I'm not saying that you sin it if you say it's autumn. But that division of seasons by the equinoxes of the sun, Yahuwah don't do that. First 6 months summer, last 6 months winter. That's it. So when Tabernacles comes in the first day, When the first day that said when trumpets hit, it's wintertime. See, we be worrying about the temperature. Yahuwah ain't said nothing about no temperature. Everything is set at its appointed time. The temperature ain't got nothing to do with nothing. So you have to kind of like click that out of your mind. That's right. So we got day and night, right? I want you to do me a favor, Sylvia. I want you to go to Revelation 21:1. I want you to start from there. And then we'll make our move around. Revelation 21:1 says what?
And I saw a new Shamahim and a new earth.
And a new what?
And a new earth.
And a new what?
A new earth.
Because he said as long as the what remains.
Earth remains.
He said as long as the earth remains, it'll be day and night, not no. You know what he said? Now listen to him.
For the first Shamahim and the first earth were passed away.
The first what?
First Shamahim and the first earth.
So that means that earth we talking about that's dissolved, that junk, gone. Ain't that what he said in Isaiah 65? That junk, gone. Come on with us.
And there was no more sea.
There was no more what?
Sea.
Come on.
And I, John, saw the Kedah city, New Jerusalem.
Coming what?
Coming down from Elohim out of Shamahim.
Out of where?
Out of Shamahim.
Praise God.
Prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Let you who would be esteemed.
And I heard a great voice out of Shamahim.
What it said?
Behold, the tabernacle of Elohim.
It's with men.
And he will dwell with them.
And he will be.
And Elohim.
And they shall be.
With him and be their Elohim.
That's right.
And Elohim shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
Come on with it.
There shall be no more death.
No more what?
No more death.
Because that earth done passed away.
Neither sorrow.
You got to understand, death is a former thing. When new Jerusalem, when new heaven and new earth get made, ain't nobody dying no more. Come on.
There shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying. Neither shall there be any more pain.
And no any more what?
Pain.
That's right.
For the former things are passed away.
They passed away.
And he that sat upon the throne said, behold,
these things are
new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful.
And they true and what?
Faithful.
Amen.
And he said unto me,
pause. Give me verse 24. Revelation 21:24.
And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. They be shut at all by day.
By what?
By day.
Or what else?
For there shall be no night there.
There shall be no what?
No night
there shall be no what?
No night there.
Come on.
They shall bring the esteem and honor of the nations into. And there shall in no wise enter into anything that defile, neither work abomination or a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life.
Come on. Did you say that when he said that Elohim will be there to be the light because they won't have no need for the sun? I don't think we read that. Did we read that? Back me up to 21, man. Give me 21 and 21. I don't think we read that.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to stop calling me.
That boy used to getting abused.
I'm sorry. I was about to yell your name. I know it's
That's right. Praise you, who is geese. That's right. They doing faithful words. You can take it straight to the bank. That check ain't gonna bounce, man. Come on, man. Come on. 21 and 21. Deal with that later.
Just abuse me.
Yeah,
and 12 gates, 12 pearls. Every several gate was one pearl, and the street of the city pure gold, as it were transparent glass.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw no temple therein.
Yeah, we didn't read.
The Lord Elohim Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it.
Uh-huh.
And the city had no need of the sun.
Had no need of the what?
The sun.
Or the what?
The moon.
Didn't he say he set the sun for day, moon for night? Why? Because Elohim there. So remember, this don't happen till he said as long as the earth remained, it'd be day and night. And what else?
Cold and heat.
Cold and heat. Summer and winter. Because what's what summer and winter gonna be attached to? Cold and heat. What's the summer and winter attached to? Seed time and harvest time. Because you plant your seed in the summer, you reap the harvest in the winter. When he plant the seed at Passover in the summer, he gonna reap the harvest in the winter at Tabernacles. You know what I'm talking about? So your house is supposed to be dedicated like Tabernacles. So when he slide through during that week-long feast, you can get picked up. I'm just showing this ain't got nothing to do with no feast of dedication, no Hanukkah, no nothing. No disrespect to the brothers who keep it. But don't turn around and say John 10:22, talking about Mashiach and Hanukkah. This is wrong. That's bad work. That's bad dope you selling. You know what I'm talking about? Because you just can't say, well, let's say feast of dedication, and there you go. Then if somebody run across 2 Chronicles 7, you ain't going to be able to explain that. You ain't going to be able to explain that. But notice, right? No day and night, right? Hold on. This is spot in Isaiah 60 say the same thing. Y'all know that, right? Did you know that? Why you ain't know that, Dora? I read it just a month ago. Maybe two. We were talking about a new heaven and new earth. You ain't paying attention. You fired. 60 and 19, Isaiah, I already got it. I give you verse 18. Isaiah 60 and 18. Violence shall no more be heard in your land, wasting nor destruction within your borders. But you shall call your walls salvation and your gates praise. Remember, right? Former things has passed away. So this is New Jerusalem he talking about here. Because we know violence going to be heard in Mashiach kingdom, because we're going to kill Gog and Magog. Let me not say we, who is. Continue. The sun shall be no more your light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto you, but Yahuwah shall be unto you with everlasting light, and your Elohim your esteem. Your sun shall no more go down, neither shall your moon withdraw itself, for Yahuwah shall be your everlasting light, and the days of your mourning shall be ended. See, this is again what Peter talking about. We, according to the promise, look for a new heaven and a new earth. You know what I'm talking about? That's what we're looking for. What he talking about, that's something totally different, man. My brothers and sisters, they're not looking for that. They're not looking for that. Do you understand that man told you it won't be no, because that means the earth has passed away. If there's no need for the sun and the moon, is that not day and night? So that means the earth passed away. He done made a new one. You know what I'm talking about? Which is, of course, we're talking about things in creation. I want y'all to come over here to Isaiah 49. I already got to see it, but you can go to Revelation chapter 7. I want you to go to Revelation chapter 7. About verse 14, if you would. Listen to this, Isaiah 49 and 8. And I'm just reading this here. I don't need to read it, but I'm reading this. Well, I mean, we do need to read it, but I'm saying is I'm about to be redundant. But I'm going to be redundant for a reason, because I want those who are not aware that what he about to read in Revelation 7 after this Isaiah 49 was in Isaiah 49 before it was in Revelation 7. That's why I'm doing it. You know what I'm talking about? Isaiah 49 and 8. Thus saith Yahuwah, in acceptable time have I heard you, in the day of salvation have I helped you, and I will preserve you and give you for a covenant of the people to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages. Pause. I want you to look at established by definition for Mississippi, and I want you to get me desolate heritages. Notice that he said that he's giving someone for a covenant of the people. People talking about that's Israel. He never gave Israel for. How Israel gonna be given for a covenant to itself? See, this dealing with Yahushua being given it as a covenant to Yasharal, you understand? So that you can inherit your destroyed inheritance, which is the land. Because your heritage is, you discontinued you from your possession. Continue, good sir.
Where you at?
I'm in Isaiah 49 and 8. Go ahead and let me get established and desolate heritages.
Establish is kun, to rise, arise, stand, rise up.
So we know
up.
about that. Come on with it. Give me desolate heritages.
Desolate is shamim, to be desolate, appalled, to stupefy.
To stupefy.
And then heritages. Nakalah.
Which you already know, your possession. So he's talking about this man giving his son for a covenant to the people so you can inherit that which has been destroyed. Verse 9, that you may say to the prisoners, go forth. That are in darkness, show yourselves. They shall feed in the ways, and their pastures shall be in high places. You know what you can look at in Isaiah 49 with that? Say to the prisoners. You know what I was going to get on to? Praise God over here, right? Because we were talking about the spirits in prison. And I ain't get on that like I wanted to. I ain't get on that like I wanted to, but that's what I'm finna do right now. I'm finna talk about it. Oh, Revelation 7, man. Give me 1 Peter 4 and 6. After that, give me 1 Peter 3 and 17. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 6. I'm gonna make this quick.
For this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead.
We'll give them verse 4 on general principle.
Wherein they think it strange that you run not to the same excess of riot.
They think it's strange you don't run to the same sins you used to do. Come on.
Who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead?
He said he ready to judge those who are alive and those that are dead. Understand this here, right? If you ain't got the word, you dead. So he ready to judge those who are alive and those that are dead. Listen to him.
For this cause.
That's why he went and preached to the spirits in prison. You got people, see, we're going to get to Hebrews 11. He said all these died in faith having a good what? What they had that was good. No. Report. That's what. You don't give them kids no another chance. You gave them F's. Son of the summer school. Son of the detention.
You give them makeup credit.
You gave them makeup to put on. You made them sisters. But listen, right?
For this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead.
That's why he had to do it, because those men had a good report. Guess what? That gospel had to be preached to Saul. He was dead. He didn't die in Yahuwah. That gospel had to be preached to Ahab. He dead. He ain't dying in Yahuwah. The men were dead. You know why they were dead? They were dead in their trespasses. And you know why they were dead in their trespasses? Not just because of the sins that they committed, but because of their unbelief. That's why I mentioned those two men, because they have a witness. They don't have a good report of faith. Saul don't have a good report of faith. Ahab don't have a good report of faith. They don't have it. See, y'all think we talking about certain sins men commit. You dead if you don't believe, what? Come on, good sir.
That they might be judged according to men in the flesh, but live according to Elohim in the spirit.
In the what?
In the spirit.
That's right.
But the end of all things is at hand.
That's good. Come on to First Peter chapter 3, verse 17.
For better, if the will of Elohim be so, that you suffer for well-doing than for evil-doing.
That's right.
For Mashiach also have once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust.
That's right.
That he might bring us to Elohim, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Ruach.
That's right.
By which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison, which sometime were disobedient.
Sometimes were what?
Disobedient. But once the long suffering of Elohim waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was.
Now listen, right? That's good, right? He said to set the prisoners to go forth, them that are in darkness, show yourselves. Give me Isaiah 26 and 19. I'm just adding this to something that we done talked about in the past. In Isaiah 26 and 19. Listen to it.
Your dead shall live. My dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing, you that dwell in dust.
Now we say your dead men would live with my dead body, right? He said go to the prison. You know what this is taking us back to? When you go look at Matthew 27, what did the book say happened after Yahushua resurrected from the dead? What happened? Get it for him. Matthew 27 and 50. That's one thing.
That's when they all rose and marched.
27:50. Come on.
Yahushua, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost.
That's it, dear.
And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom. And the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. And the graves were opened, and many bodies.
And the what were open?
The graves.
The who?
The graves.
And what happened?
Many bodies of the saints who slept arose.
Why you think how could they be able to do that if he ain't go preach to the spirits in prison? Why you think they got up? It said your dead body. You said your dead men will live with my dead body. How you think they got up? How you think these men got up if he ain't gonna drop no word on them? And see a little instance of that to know that you could go holler at a spirit in prison, which gets overlooked a lot, is when Saul called up who? And he said, why have you disquieted me? Ain't that what he said? And he said, you're gonna be here with me in a minute. Ain't that what he told him? Let's look at it for him. Come over here the first thing, man. Dora don't know. She's looking great. You say you knew? Then where it's at then? Back of the head. Yeah, we hit niggas with the paddle in the back of the head. Ain't no spanking in there. Some of y'all niggas nasty. Y'all might like that type of stuff. Real, you got to be careful. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all, it ain't like y'all children no more. Y'all don't know what you nasty niggas into. 1 Samuel 28 and 3. You might sit there and say, we're going to spank this nigga. That nigga like, yeah. Wait on that all eight. What? What's wrong with you people? You say that's funny. You one of them nasty niggas. Look at Tom. Yeah. That boy putting you on out there. You was a nasty nigga.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at you rolling out. I do. I've been naughty, nasty, bastard. 1 Samuel 28 and 3. Man, you could make it 28. Yeah, 28 and 3 is fine, man.
Now Samuel was dead.
Now Samuel was what?
Dead.
And all.
Yasharal had lamented.
And buried him.
And Ramah.
Even in his own
city.
And Saul.
And put away those
that had
familiar spirits.
And wizards.
Out of the land.
The Philistines gathered
themselves together. Came and pinched the Shanim. And Saul gathered all Yasharal together, and they pitched in Gilboa.
Mm-hmm.
And when Saul saw the host of the Philistines, he was afraid.
He was scared.
And his heart greatly trembled.
And when Saul inquired
of Yahuwah,
Yahuwah answered him,
not
neither by dreams,
nor by Urim,
nor
by prophet.
That means Yahuwah cut him off. Let me tell you something, man. You be talking about, I wonder if Saul gonna be saved. You don't know right there he ain't gonna be saved. Because even when Solomon went sideways, Yahuwah still hollered at him. Yahuwah didn't cut Solomon off. Well, he cut Saul off. You know what I'm talking about? I know it's hard. I know it don't make people feel good on the inside, but that's what happened. You know what I'm talking about? And you can take that however you want. Come on with it, man.
Then said Saul unto his servants, seek me a woman
that have
a familiar spirit,
that I may
go to her
and inquire
of her.
And his servant said,
behold,
a woman
that have a familiar spirit at Endor.
Saul
disguised himself,
put on other raiment,
and he went.
with 2 men with him.
And they came to the woman by night.
Ain't that what happened when the Lord met Mary? He disguised himself, and it would have said he changed his appearance. Yeah, that's what it said. Go look for yourself in John 20. Come on. Because she thought he was a what? When Mary seen him, who she thought he was? Oh, y'all slacking on your macking. You ain't tight with your pimping. You be limping with your pimping while you beating on Civic. He done said you done abused him. That man said he got to go to Battered Husbands Anonymous. We all in this together. That's what they say that. He just said you abused him. That man say, I say you look like you strike, and he said you do. I asked him to blink his eye 3 times if he being abused. He caught a twitch. That's right. They say that she supposed he was a gardener. You don't remember why she supposed that he was a gardener? Because that's what Adam was. A gardener, a tiller of the ground, a keeper of gardens, if you would. Continue, good sir.
He came to the woman by night, and he said, I pray you, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring me up, whom I shall name unto you.
And the woman said unto him, behold,
you know what Saul hath done, how he have cut off those that have familiar spirits, the wizards out of the land.
Wherefore,
then lay you a snare for my life.
To cause.
To die.
So when they say she put him out, I mean they were killing him. They were killing him. Come on.
And Saul swore to her by Yahuwah, saying, Yahuwah live, there shall be no punishment happen to you for this thing.
He ought to go to hell for that. Because he's swearing to Yahuwah, he ain't going to kill her for a sin punishable by death. Because you know why? Because all he cared is he wanted to know what he wanted to know. That's all he was concerned with. Come on, sir.
Then said the woman, whom shall I bring up unto you? And he said, bring me up Samuel.
And when the woman saw
Samuel,
she cried.
With a loud voice.
The woman spake to Saul,
saying, why have you deceived
for
me?
you Saul.
And the king said unto her, be not afraid, for what saw you?
And the woman said unto Saul, I saw
gods ascending out of the earth.
She saw what?
Gods ascending out of
the
earth.
She saw what?
Gods ascending out of the earth.
Give them gods by definition.
That's Elohim.
She saw Elohim, which means divine one, judges, rulers. Guess when you resurrect from the dead, guess what you're going to be? A divine one, a judge, and a ruler. So she saw men coming up out the grave. What happened when Mashiach came? They saw men coming out the grave, saw gods ascending out of the earth. That's what you seen. You know what I'm talking about? Give him Samuel's name by definition. Because ain't it funny that she called up Samuel when Samuel came up, she saw gods resurrecting from the dead?
His name is El. That's what it means.
My Elohim. Let's see one more thing. Man, don't nobody care about no UFC, nigga. That's right, right? His name is God. And guess what? Who was in the grave to call gods to ascend out of the earth but Yahusha? And when he was dead, and when he was alive, what he told them people? He said before Abraham was, he was what? He told him he was God. He told him he was God. That's what he told him, man. Abraham was, he was what? He told him he was God. He told him he was God. That's what he told him, man. Read that verse 13 one more time.
And the king said unto her, Be not afraid, for what saw you? And the woman said unto Saul, I saw God descending out of the earth.
And he said unto her,
What form he of?
What form is he in? He was formed by definition. Say the word that it is.
Ta'ar, that is shape, form, outline, figure, or appearance.
So what figure does he have? He said, when we see him, we don't know how he shall appear, but when we see him, we shall know him as he is. Ain't that what John told you? Come on with it, sir. She said,
An old man come up.
And he's covered
with a mantle.
Give a mantle by definition.
Ma'il, that is a robe.
Robe. I put on righteousness as a robe. And Saul perceived
that it was Samuel.
And he stooped with his face
to the ground
and bowed himself.
Samuel said to Saul,
Why you disquieted me?
To bring me up.
And Saul answered,
I am sore distressed.
For the Philistines
make war against
and Elohim. See, he knew God was done with it. And answer me no more,
neither by prophet
nor by dreams.
Therefore I have called you, that you may make known unto me what I shall do.
Come on.
Then says Samuel, Wherefore then do you ask of me, seeing Yahuwah is departed from you, and has become your enemy?
Notice he said departed from him and became his what?
Enemy.
How a stupid nigga gonna talk about this man gonna be saved, and this man knew Yahuwah was his enemy before he died. Come on.
And Yahuwah have done to him as he spake by me, for Yahuwah had rent the kingdom out of your hand and given it to your neighbor, to David.
Because
you obeyed not the voice of Yahuwah,
nor executed
his fierce wrath upon Amalek.
Therefore,
hath Yahuwah done this thing unto
moreover,
you. Yahuwah also deliver Yasharal with you into the hand of the Philistines.
And tomorrow,
you and your sons with me. Yahuwah also shall deliver the host of Yasharal into the hand of the Philistines.
And Saul
fell straightway all along on the earth
and was sore,
afraid,
because
the words of Samuel.
There was no
strength in him.
He had eaten no bread
all the day, all the night.
That man knew he was done. That man knew he was done. He knew he was done. But look at the key point, right? He brought up Saul. He brought up Samuel as a spirit. And where was he at? In prison. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm just showing you that there's a spirit in prison. Yahushua go in the grave and preach to the spirits in prison. For the spirits in prison to be as gods ascending out of the earth, because it said he set the prisoners free, that they might do what? Let me read that again, Isaiah. That they might do what? Show yourselves. Did they not say they went and appeared before many? Let you who will be esteemed. Isaiah 49:9. You can go back and get to that Revelation 7:14, by the way, good sir. Isaiah 49:9 one more time. That you may say to the prisoners of forfeit, to them that are in darkness, show yourselves. They shall feed in the ways, and their pastures shall be in high places. Verse 10, they shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he that hath mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them. Revelation 7:14, and we coming back to Nehemiah 9 after that.
And I said unto him, Sir, you know. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb.
They washed their robes and made them what?
White in the blood of the Lamb.
And that's what Samuel had on? A good robe, a white robe, fine linen, clean and white. Ain't that man say, don't let your head lack oil, and let your garments always be white. Go ahead.
Therefore are they before the throne of Elohim, and serve him day and night in his temple.
In his where?
In his temple.
Okay.
And he that sit on the throne shall dwell among them.
Dwell among them.
They shall hunger no more.
They shall what?
Hunger no more.
And they shall
thirst any more.
And what else?
Neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat.
What? That means that's a new heaven and a new earth where righteousness dwell, and the former things will not come to mind. You understand? So when you see that, Genesis 8:22 won't be fulfilled till the Father's kingdom come. Till the kingdom of Shamahin come, that's when Genesis 8:22 gonna be fulfilled. Remember what we talked about when we was in Matthew 5:17. One jot and one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till heaven and earth pass. Once heaven and earth pass, that's what he means. All former things won't be remembered. I done told y'all this before, and I know this is hard to fathom in our human minds. Even though we can discuss it, we still can't fathom it in our mind. I don't care how much we talk about it, we can't picture it in our brain, that you will remember absolutely nothing of anything that occurred before the new heaven and new earth get made. That means your entire physical existence, anything that you may have viewed in regards if you was alive at the coming of the Lord. Matter of fact, anything that happened in the kingdom of Mashiach, because that would be before the new heaven and new earth, you ain't remembering none of it. All that passed away, and none of it will come to mind. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I know that that's hard. Like, we talking about it, but we can't picture that in our human minds. We ain't gonna remember nothing. Nothing. Absolutely. Because why would you? You know what I'm saying? That's what you will be remembering. Pain, death, sin, suffering. Well, see, that's because most people are looking at the kingdom of a Mashiach where there would still be flesh and blood people who would be procreating, versus in the kingdom of heaven where no one will be procreating. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, ain't gonna be no flesh and blood. Yeah, that's right. Amen. Ladies say that all that evil be laid to rest. That's exactly what's happening to it. It's laid to rest. It's put to death. Because you would have to look at it this way from the law. Hold on, y'all. So look at it this way, right? The lake of fire will already be started in Mashiach's kingdom. Because remember, the beast and the false prophet get thrown in it alive. So they'll already be in it. But then in the new heaven and new earth, after, because remember, right, the books are not open until after Gog and Magog is destroyed. Because remember, you got one day in Mashiach's kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So I just want y'all to recall that and remember. And I'm glad you asked that because maybe, you know what I'm saying, so you can so others will understand. You could go look in Revelation 19. It'll tell you the beast and false prophet are tossed in alive. Now, when you go read Isaiah 66, it tell you about it be a new heaven and a new earth about verse 21 or 22. But then in verse 24, it tell you about the lake of fire. You know what I'm saying? Where the worm dies not and the fire shall not be quenched, and they shall be an abhorrence to all flesh. You know what I'm talking about? So then when you go read Revelation 20, and you see that he come and sit on the throne and he opened up the books, nobody is in the lake of fire except for the beast and the false prophet for the one day that Mashiach is ruling. Remember, it's 1,000 years to us, but in heaven it's only a day. So the beast and false prophet really ain't in there that long. They're only in there for a day. You know what I'm talking about? So then when the books are open, Gog and Magog gather themselves up to battle, and fire come down from Shamahim and consume them. This is when Mashiach, the books are open and men are judged. And if their names ain't found written in the book, they're getting tossed in. And then a new heaven and new earth come. You know what I'm saying? And while all those are dwelling in righteousness, remember, the valley of Himnon, the valley of Tophet is outside the gate. It's outside the city. You know what I'm talking about? It's outside the city. And what is that? That is an individual that is for eternity separated from Elohim, tormented, where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That ain't no way to be. That ain't no way to be. Keep it all the way live with you. You know what I'm saying? Come on back to Nehemiah 9. I'm already over there. Nehemiah 9. And we'll go back to Isaiah 42 behind that. Now, this is Nehemiah 9. On the 24th day of this month, the sons of Yasharal will assemble with fasting and with sackcloth and earth upon them. The seed of Yasharal separated themselves from all strangers and stood and confessed their sins and their iniquities of their fathers. They stood in their place and read in the book of the law of Yahuwah their Elohim a fourth part of the day. A fourth part they confessed and worshiped Yahuwah their Elohim. So I just wanted to see that right. They had a fourth part where they were confessing their sins and worshiping, and another fourth part they was in the word exclusive. You know what I'm talking about? Now the confessing part we didn't mention. What I'm saying is whatever part you gave to this, you got to give equal parts to the hearing of the word. You know what I'm saying? You can't give an hour praise and worship and then give 25 minutes to the word. If you give an hour praise and worship, you need to give an hour towards the word. It's got to be equal. Because at the end of the day, you're not saved by praise and worship. You're saved by preaching. Nobody's going to be saved by how much you praise and worship. And again, we ain't got no problem with that. We promote it. And I ain't talking about just rapping either. I'm talking about somebody singing and making a joyful noise and playing on an instrument. We ain't got no problems with that. I just want that to be known. I don't want nobody to misconstrue and think we talking about any praise and worship type service. It is good. It is just. Yahuwah has asked for it. It's in the book. We can see it. But if you're going to give me 2 hours of praise and worship, I'm going to need 2 hours of reading out that book, though. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to need that. We're going to need that. You know what I'm talking about? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you what some of these rules doing, man, keeping the beam with you. You're doing the same thing they were doing in the Christian church. You got the people all charged up spiritually. That's right, Brother Reynolds. You got the people charged up spiritually is for praising and worship, but yet they're defunct and destitute spiritually because you ain't gave them that which was needful to the spirit, which is the word. So yeah, they feel real good because they've been singing and praising Yahuwah, but then they don't have what they're going to need to actually serve Yahuwah. You know what I'm talking about? Because you need both. Ain't nothing wrong with praising God. Not a single solitary thing wrong with it. And I'm saying, and the reason why I'm emphasizing this, because if it's a goofy brew that you run across that talk against that, just know that he's stupid. That's right. And Deidre, I would think about that. I just didn't say it. Because remember what that Psalms we read, he said, when you sing to Yahuwah, what you need to sing to him with? Understanding. Understanding. That's what the book say. If you're going to sing praises, you need to sing them with understanding. You know what I'm talking about? Because it ain't gonna make no good sense to sing to Yahuwah and you lack understanding. No singing this for nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, I was thinking about this. They was talking about the elements of the virgin birth, right? Y'all know about that in Isaiah 7 and 8. Y'all know about that in Isaiah 7? Well, in Isaiah, let me ask y'all this here. Y'all know who Isaiah was married to? What type of woman she was? She was a prophetess. You can read that in Isaiah 8:1. Read it for him, my G. And I wouldn't expect y'all to know that because we don't talk about it a lot. But yeah, Isaiah was married to a prophetess. Isaiah 8:1.
Moreover, Yahuwah said unto me, take a great roll and write in it with a man's pen concerning Maher Shalal Hashbaz. And I took unto me faithful witnesses to record Uriah the priest, Zechariah the son of Jebechiah. And I went unto the prophetess, and she conceived.
He went under who?
The prophetess.
And she what?
Conceived.
That's right.
And bare a son. Then said Yahuwah to me, call his name Maher Shalal Hashbaz. For before the child shall have knowledge to cry, my father and my mother, the riches of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria shall be taken away.
That's good. See, because it's be a lot of contention with a lot of brews when you read Isaiah 7 and they say, a virgin shall conceive. Because we were talking with a brother about this here, right? You know that word conceive in Hebrew, when you look at it, it means pregnant. It don't mean like conceive and get pregnant. It literally means pregnant. And then, of course, the word used for virgin there is not the Hebrew word for virgin. It's young woman. But see, now the brother didn't consider this when we were talking about it. I was like, Yahuwah call things that are not as if they are. You know what I'm saying? So he don't have to be like, she'll get pregnant. She was already pregnant in heaven. You just ain't seen it manifested in the earth. You know what I'm talking about? But this is why I'm mentioning this here, right? Because the prophecy with Isaiah is about him and his wife, correct? Isaiah is a prophet. You just read that his wife was a prophetess. Now, let me tell you something real, right? Do you know that got played out with Mary and Joseph? Because a young woman was pregnant and she was a prophetess. And this is what I want you to tell me. How do you know that Mary was a prophetess? We already know Joseph was a prophet. How do we know it? Because the angel appeared to him. So how do we know Mary is a prophetess? Doris. She looked away. She gonna beat you tonight, Civic. Run. Boom. How do we know that Mary was a prophetess? Not for that one. Not for that one. But I can see why you would use that, and I really can't shoot that down, but that's not what I want. Do you know why we could say Mary is a prophet? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. What about you, good sir? Anybody on YouTube or Clubhouse can tell me how we know Mary is a prophetess? I mean, Boop did use because an angel appeared to Samson and his parents, and they weren't prophets. Anybody on YouTube or Clubhouse can tell me, how do we know Mary, the wife of Joseph, who birthed Elohim? See, this is another thing too, and I'm glad Zadok mentioned this when we were talking about this here, right? Y'all heard of immaculate conception? Y'all know what that means? It don't mean virgin birth. What does immaculate conception mean? You talking about, yeah. No, I just said that's not what it means. No, it means that Mary had never committed sin in her life and then conceived. I'll read it to you. What you got, Jay? Because she had the Messiah. No, not on that one now. Because she was spoken to in a dream. That's the same thing Big Boop said. When y'all thinking on that, I'm going to give you one more minute before I tell you. I'm going to give you what the immaculate conception is so y'all can know.
Because she was already found with the child that grew up before her and Joseph even came together.
The immaculate conception, Roman Catholic dogma asserts that Mary, the mother of Yahushua, was preserved free from the effects of sin of Adam, usually referred to as original sin, from the instant of her conception. Does the Bible mention immaculate conception? Sacred scripture does not explicitly proclaim the doctrine of Mary's immaculate conception, i.e., freedom from the original sin from the very start of her life. That's what the immaculate conception is that the mother goddess has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that she conceived Yahusha. 2 and 3 form. But that ain't it.
Did she have a vision with the son was on the deep?
She did.
And when they wanted wine, the mother of Yahusha said unto him, they have no wine.
Now see, that's how it was just read. Give him Luke 2 and 44. Luke 2 and 44. Listen to it.
But they, supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey. They saw him among kinfolk and acquaintance. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem seeking him. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple.
I think I got you. Yeah, I got you a little too high. Right to 46.
And it came
Listen to it. Luke 2 and 46.
It came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both.
Oh, my bad. Luke 1 and 46. Luke 1 and 46.
And Mary said, my soul do magnify the Lord.
My what? Luke 1 and 46.
And Mary said, my soul do magnify the Lord.
My what?
Do magnify the Lord.
And my ruach
have rejoiced in Elohim, my Savior.
For he regarded
the low estate of his handmaid.
Paul, see, you could take that and you could look at that as an example of who? Hannah. The reason why this is how we know that Mary is a prophet, because this is a song. And what are songs? They're prophecies. You know what I'm saying? They're prophecies. So, of course, as you stated, the Malachim appeared to her. Right after the Malachim appears to her, she makes this song. Because Miriam has a song. Moses has a song. Songs are not just like songs that you sing. They're actually prophetic words. It's in here. And I mean, of course, she's gonna bear witness to it very, very plain. You know what I'm saying? More plain than say people, you know what I'm saying, before her. Come on, Sid. We're in verse 48. For behold,
from henceforth all generations shall call me blessed.
See, she blessed forever because she was chosen to bring forth Elohim. Continue.
For he that is mighty hath done to me great things.
Kadash,
his name,
and mercy
on them that fear him from generation to generation.
See, we read that in Psalms on last Wednesday night. Come on.
He hath showed strength with his arm.
He scattered the proud
in their imagination of their hearts.
He hath put down
the mighty from seats
and exalted them.
of low degree.
He hath filled
The hungry with good things.
and the rich.
He hath sent empty away.
He hath holpen
His servant is Yasharal
in remembrance
of his mercy.
and spake to our fathers.
To Abraham and to his seed forever.
And Mary abode with her about 3 months and returned to her own house. Now, see, we're just not going to go through all the passages in great detail right now, but well, the song qualifies it because that is a prophecy. She's speaking of something that's going to come to pass later. And this is how we know that Joseph went into the prophetess and brought forth Emmanuel. You know what I'm talking about? Because they got to fulfill the book. She's a prophetess just like he is a prophet, because just like it stated, the Malachim appeared unto her. But how we can confirm that is the Malachim appeared unto her and she prophesied afterwards. So this is how we know that she is a prophetess. You know what I'm talking about? And I just want to, that hit my mind then, but I didn't get a chance to get into conversation and talk about that. But I'm just sharing that with y'all now. Come on back over here to Isaiah 42. I'm in verse 20. Seeing many things. See, remember, right? We did all that. We were coming from verse 19. We didn't get that John 7 and 14 ready. Remember, we read, he said he won't judge with the sight of his eyes or the hearing of his ears, but in righteousness shall he make judgment and reprove with equity for the meek. Be just in a just battle. John 7 and 14.
Now, about the midst of the feast, Yahushua went up into the temple and taught.
He went up where?
Into the temple and taught.
What he taught?
And the Yahudim marveled, saying, how having never learned.
He never learned.
Yahushua answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine.
My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me.
If any man will do his will, he shall know the doctrine, whether it be of Elohim or I speak of myself.
That's right.
He that speaks of himself seek his own esteem. He that seek his esteem that sent him.
The same is true.
And no unrighteousness is in him.
Go ahead.
Did not Moses the law, and none of you keep the law?
And none of you keep the law.
Why go you about to kill me? The people answered and said, you have a devil who go about
to kill you.
Yahushua answered and said unto them, I have done one work, and you all marvel. Moses therefore gave unto you circumcision, not because it is of Moses, but of the fathers.
Of the who?
Of the fathers.
That's right.
And you on the Shabbat day circumcise a man. If a man on the Shabbat day receives circumcision, that the law of Moses should not be broken.
Mm-hmm.
Are you angry at me?
Are you angry?
Because I made a man every whit whole on the Shabbat day.
On the Shabbat?
Judge not according to the appearance.
Judge not what? Be blind. But judge according to what?
Righteous judgment.
Don't judge by the hearing of your ears and the seeing of your eyes. Why you think they put that blindfold on him just besides that with Samson? Because he wasn't going to judge him based off what he seen or what he heard. He was going to judge him righteously. You know what I'm talking about? See, that's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people in the word do, is you judge matters based on the hearing of your ears and the seeing of your eyes, and you don't judge righteously. And also probably the second biggest mistake that people make is they judge with respect to persons. You know what I'm saying? You judge based off who it is in your relationship with them versus judging on what is Kadash, what is just, and what is evil. And when I say evil, meaning disagreeable, everything that would be raw is not necessarily that you just committed some great, horrible sin unto death. Everything that everybody do is not necessarily unto death, but it can be disagreeable according to the word. You could offend your brother and not necessarily sinned against him. You know what I'm talking about? But it was disagreeable. It caused the fissure. It caused the breach. You know what I'm talking about? But a lot of people, they judge with respect to persons. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these dudes do that because they cowards. You know what I'm talking about? See, I was telling brother this other day, like, niggas be new jack swinging on niggas nuts. You know what I'm saying? I don't perform fellatio and I don't clean booty holes. You know what I'm talking about? Meaning that I'm not sweating or jocking on another man. You know what I'm saying? I remember the first time we went to Atlanta, man, and Holland at Smith, man, the niggas was like, oh, this here to this thing. I'm like, to me, just a regular dude. You do the same, I do the same thing you do, man. We got the same job. I'm not, because I know sometimes people look at people who preach the word, they be in awe of them. You know what I'm talking about? And all that in the third, right? And I understand how I get like, but like for me as an individual, as a man, I wasn't raised to be in awe of another man. I don't care what he do. That don't mean that I don't have respect and appreciation for what you do. You know what I'm talking about? If you're good at what you do, especially if you've been sent to preach the word, I got nothing but love for you. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm not going to be in awe of you like, oh, this great man and this, that, there, and the third. Bro, I'm a man, bro. That junk is gay. You know what I'm talking about? If you can't look at another man and give him the respect and honor that he's due based on what he do, and you got to really be like, you know what I'm talking about, acting like to put it to you this way, how would your old lady feel if she seen her man around here acting like that about another man? You might as well tell this dude he can knock your wife down. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's how she gonna be looking at you. Because your wife's supposed to look at you like, hey man, this is the greatest man I've ever met. Now, whether you're the greatest man on earth is another question. But she should at least feel like you somewhat like that. And if she see you around here, New Jack swinging in another man's lap, you know what I'm talking about? Talking about how great and how awesome another man is. Bro, that junk is weird, bro. Because you ain't supposed to do that. Man, them people fell down and worshiped Peter's feet. What Peter told them to do? He said, man, get up, man. What you doing? He said, I'm a man dust and ashes just like you are. And that's the reason why I'm doing that. I'm done. I got to go to the grave just like everybody else. I would feel real awkward and weird for niggas to be treated. See, I don't even be moved by that. I ain't gonna tell you no lie, man. I remember the first time I met this group, man. He was like, oh, you serious? You got doing all that? I said, yeah, that nigga don't like me. You know what I'm saying? And it came out to be true. That nigga tolerated nigga. He don't like a nigga. I mean, if it's your father, that, but even with your daddy, it's got a limit. Because, see, I can see if you look at your daddy like that as a man. You know what I'm saying? That's your daddy. Ain't nobody got nothing to say about a nigga who like this here, but even your daddy, well, all right now, son. You buck because he gonna still want his son to have an understanding of I may be your father. And I know you look at me like XYZ, but it's only so far that you bring forth admiration and adulation to a man. You know what I'm talking about? Because if Pops don't check him while he acting like that, he gonna go do that with another man. You know what I'm talking about? No matter how much a dude might look up to his daddy, man, he'll go out there and do that to another man if his daddy don't let him know, son, that ain't what you do now, because I ain't your God. I'm a man just like you a man. Because that's the purpose of making sure that you stay humble. Absolutely. And you can end up making your daddy into an idol. And you can end up making these men into an idol. That's why that's dangerous. You know what I'm talking about? That's why men who preach the word are supposed to rebuke that and stop that. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? Relax. You know what I'm saying? Even remember when John fell down at the Malachim, what the Malachim told him to do? Get up. Worship God. He said, I'm your brother and your fellow servant of the prophets. Man, what is you doing? We don't do that. Don't do that. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's easy to fall in that trap. Because I want to understand, right? It's not necessarily a negative that men look at a man who they believe have changed their life and gave them an opportunity to save their soul and things of that nature for them to have a level of respect and love for that man. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It comes into when it's starting to like, man, that man, nigga, what's wrong with you, bro? Like, that's still a man, dude. You know what I'm saying? And where that ties into what Paul wrote, we don't look at men above that which is written. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about this earlier with the ladies, right? I was really talking to the ladies about, as a matter of fact, Trav say he literally had this conversation himself. A lot of women don't have a framework of what it is to be a stay-at-home wife. Your mama wasn't one. Your grandma wasn't one. Your great-grandma wasn't one. Your aunties ain't one. You don't have a basis of what is set or where to do that from. So you know what ends up happening? A lot of ladies don't structure their time properly. You know what I'm talking about? So the things that they should have accomplished earlier in the day, they usually put it off and it ends up coming in on the back end of the day. They get overwhelmed. When the husband comes home, they expect him to assist them in that which they could have done 3-4 hours ago. And then they begin to resent him for not helping them for their lack of time management, structure, and order of the day. You know what I'm talking about? This happens a lot. You don't realize it happens because you don't realize that if you're going to be doing something, see, being a stay-at-home mother is no different than being an entrepreneur. There's nobody telling you what to do and when to do it. There's nobody telling you that you need to go do X, Y, Z. You have to go do that yourself. You have to structure that yourself. You have to order that yourself. And when you're unaccustomed to doing those things and you don't have anyone, see, it's different with an entrepreneur. You can just find other entrepreneurs. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, man, how you do your stuff? You know what I'm talking about? But it's not a lot of women who stay at home and don't work who most women can go holler at and say, how you do it? Because see, we were talking about, like, you ever seen the Mormon, and of course, this is a snapshot. Of course, this is a snapshot. You ever seen the Mormon women got all them damn children on TV? Them women don't never seem to be upset or overwhelmed. They seem to be joyous and happy every minute of the day. But you know why? If you pay attention to them, they seem to have their days very structured and regimented. You know what I'm talking about? Where, hey, for this period of time to this period of time, this is what's getting done. Boom, boom, boom. So by the time the late evening comes, that's what they ain't got to do. Nothing. Because everything that they wanted to do for the day, it had already been accomplished. But you know why they have that? Because there's other women there who've been living like that. You understand? So they can go lean on that and say, okay, baby, this is what you do. This is how you do it. When you don't have that, then you're going to do it in the best way that you think it's going to be able to be done. And then this is another reason, because I was listening to the lady who was talking about that she wished if she could have did it over again, she wouldn't have been a mother. And, people just going off on her. But I say, women are different because of y'all leading with your emotions, because y'all do something that men don't do. Y'all create expectations for yourself that you can never attain. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you got in your mind that you got to do all these different things and meet all these different benchmarks. It causes you a certain level of anxiety and all this type of stuff. And then when you don't hit these benchmarks of which you could never hit anyway, you feel like you're a horrible mother, a horrible wife, and just this horrible, no good person. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of people don't pay attention to that. I listened to the lady who was like, if she would have knew motherhood was what it was, she wouldn't have done it. And people looking at, oh, so you hate your child? That's not what she said. She's looking at the thoughts of her anxiety, the thoughts of, should I buy this for myself? Am I taking away from my kids and all this other the type of stuff that y'all create in your mind that has really no bearing on reflection on who you are as an individual. You're manifesting these anxious thoughts, these self-depreciating thoughts. You're manifesting this in your own brain. And then you sit here like, I hate motherhood, but this is just the emotional makeup of a woman. See, then y'all don't really express that to people for them to tell you, like, you're really creating this narrative against yourself. You're not a horrible person if you bought yourself some shoes. It doesn't make you a horrible person. It doesn't mean you're just this horrible mother. Like, oh, will my baby have shoes if I buy them? The nigga got 15 pairs of shoes in there. And 12 of them he don't wear. You know what I'm saying? Because they be hard. Shoot, Bella was saying that how hard she be on herself. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? No, but I understand because that's how y'all live. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm telling you is this here, right? If you know you at the house and you know it's things you got to do, it would be better for you, if possible, to prep your day out either the week before, of course, you know what I'm saying, as much as possible that the Lord allow, or the night before, so that your day is easier. So when nighttime comes, you don't have to really do as much and you don't be as frantic. Dang, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. And when your husband come home, and this is not for everybody, this is just in general, because people in the Word and not in the Word. Are you mad at him because he don't help me? Well, the help that you thinking that he should do, that work should have already been done. You could have spread that out throughout your day, and your day would have been easier. But how would you know to do that if you've never had? So when you go to your job, right, then people got your day ordered on. They tell you know exactly where to do. You found it out when you went to clean it. It was different when you was at that bank. When you had to actually order your own day, there was nobody telling you, here's the system, here's the structure, here's the order. You do this at this time, you do this at that time. That's different when you got to do it. You know what I'm talking about? It's real, real different. That's why a lot of people who start a business, why they fail. You know what I'm talking about? That's why some people stay in a job, because that is easier for me if it's already made up for me. But when you got to do it and you ain't used to doing it, that's what you can end up doing. I'll do it later. But later never comes. You know what I'm talking about? I'll do it later. Later never comes. Now it's 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and you got this much work looking you in the face. You know what I'm talking about? Now you pissed off at him. But did he have anything to do with you? The fact that you could have did this at 10:30, but you waited till 8 to do it? He didn't have nothing to do with that. That's a decision that you made. That's right. The job got deadlines. You know what I'm saying? See, it'd be different if your husband came through and he gave you a deadline. See, and then you'll be looking crazy. But see, listen, right? Because see, we were talking about this also, right? Sister I know, man, Plain Jane, you know what I'm talking about? She was saying that she didn't realize, I think I might have mentioned this, y'all. She was like, her husband, she divorced him, but that's her husband. You know what I'm talking about? She said she considered him to be an alpha male. And she said what she perceived to be manipulation and control, structure and order. She said she didn't realize that until she stopped being with him and had to be with beta males. And beta males let her do whatever she wanted to do. And then she realized what she perceived to be manipulation and control was the order and structure of a man. Like, this is what I want you to do, and this is what I want you to do it. You know what I'm saying? And the difference between a man and a beta male is a beta male gonna beg you. A man ain't gonna ask you for one time. And if you don't want to do it, then he's just gonna change how he deals with you. If he don't cut you off completely. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm not gonna keep asking you to do something. You know what I'm talking about? I asked you to do it this one time, and if you don't deem yourself worthy enough to do it, that means you really don't deem yourself worthy enough to be in my presence. You know what I'm talking about? And that's just what that is. But see, I mentioned that because we were talking about this, and this is the same with Yahuwah. A lot of women, if you understand what I'm saying, don't want to be told what to do. I want to do what I want to do. I say I want the order. I say I want the structure, but in reality, I want to do what I want to do. And you don't really appreciate that level of masculinity till you ain't got it no more. See, I done told a lot of women this here in my day, right? You only get one man in your lifetime. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're in the word or not. You only get one. If you're blessed, maybe two. If the first nigga dies. Because if you get a man and you reject that man, why would Yahuwah give you another? If you ran across a man who was a godly man, because remember, right, especially on the godly man tip, you ain't rejecting that man. Guess who you rejected? You rejected Yahuwah. So why would Yahuwah come back now and get with you again in a different form? He ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't getting no opportunities to get a stand-up man over and over and over again. And a lot of times, a lot of women had a man and they didn't appreciate it. And then they realize that as time go by and they kind of keep messing with beta boys. Because you ain't getting another one. It's the same token that if you get a real godly woman, but you wanted bust downs and thought pockets, well, you're not getting another one. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting another one. That's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't appreciate it, you didn't value it, so you're not getting another one. And I would tell them like this here, right? A lot of women, they look at that, oh, he's controlling, he's control is, right? A man is going to do the same thing you are going to do. You ain't got to do nothing. But if you're going to be with me, this is what you're going to do. Now, you can make your decision. But this is what it is. See, some women look at that as manipulation and control. You know why? Because there's no compromising there. There's no way where they feel like I can work some type of wiles or whims to get him to change his mind. See, that's the same thing that people preach. See, they want a preacher to come in and they want him to change it up. And what can I do to get him to say no? Because not, hey man, this is what it is. You either with it or not. You know what I'm talking about? See, some people don't hear that, but that's how a man is supposed to be. I'm not going to try to convince and persuade you to do nothing. This is what we own. You can get down with it or you don't. Because it ain't going to make me no never mind. You know why? Because it ain't no loss to me. One thing my big homie used to tell me, man, when we were hustling, he used to be like, man, you can't miss what you never had. So if a smoker came by, man, you missed all that money, man. You came around here, $100, sir, $100, sir. He said, man, you can't miss that. You never had it. You know what I'm talking about? So you got to sit back and consider that in your mind. How can you miss something that you never had? See, you might miss your child if they left. I miss my baby. I'll be glad when they come home. You know what I'm talking about? You had a couple $100 in your pocket and you can't find where it's at because you knew you had it. You're missing it now. Where's my money? You know what I'm talking about? I found $10 yesterday. I thought I dropped the 10. I thought it was my 10. Went in my pocket. Said, my 10 in my pocket. Look at God. You know what I did with them $10? Nah, I bought a Chick-fil-A biscuit. Them niggas screwed me, man. They gave me that baby Chick-fil-A biscuit in mom, man. Ain't what I get. I didn't drop it. Ain't my fault. It wasn't nobody there. Well, I all jokes aside, when I seen, because I knew I had a $10 bill in my pocket, when I seen the $10 bill on the ground, I thought that was my $10 bill. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, they gonna drop my money. And then when I went in my pocket, I said, oh, I didn't drop my money. Look at God.
You're about to spend your own.
It probably was, because he definitely was standing over there. Yep. But I wasn't even thinking about him. I didn't realize it was the principal till she said that. Yeah. No, the egg white grill was on point. But them niggas, and the biscuit was fresh. But they gave me a baby piece of chicken. No, not always. No, I don't know what type of breakfast business you be getting, but I am unaccustomed to such things. Well, they be screwing you. Hold on, Derek said that's how my sister viewed our stepdad as a manipulator, but he was really trying to bring structure. Because it's the rebellious nature of an emotional being. See, I'm not just gonna say woman, I'm gonna say an emotional being. You know why I'm gonna say emotional being? Because the carnal mind is enmity against the law of Elohim. It's not subject to it, neither indeed can be. See, with this instance, I don't want to just classify that with women. I want to say a carnal mind, an emotional mind. An emotional mind can never submit to order. It can never submit to structure. It can never do it. You know what I'm talking about? Because it doesn't see the benefit of humbling itself and changing how it operates in order to fit into something. See, like I mentioned Wednesday, it's supposed to be one body, one vision, one will, one way. It can't be two different things. The lesser in the dynamic has to yield to the greater in order to bring forth the greater's vision. So man is lesser than Yahuwah. So man has to yield to Yahuwah in order for the vision, not in order for the vision of Yahuwah to come to pass, because the vision of Yahuwah come to pass regardless. You know what I'm talking about? Let that be known. But I'm just saying for the sake, you know what I'm talking about? So when you're dealing with a man and a woman, it's supposed to be the same manifestation of the same union. That the woman is coming under the man and taking on his mind, his heart, his spirit to perform his vision. We don't have it anymore because most women don't want to be wives and they don't want to, they want a partner. And when you have a partner, that means you're equal. And when you have that type of equality, you're going to have confusion in the children. You know what I'm talking about? And like I say, man, Joe Rogan was talking about this. He says, everybody know the quote. I'm really talking about something else. Equality, you're going to have confusion in the children. You know what I'm talking about? And like I say, man, Joe Rogan was talking about this. He says, everybody know the quote. I'm really talking about something else. He said, it's whether to be a warrior in a gardener than being a gardener in a war. What does that mean? They're emasculating men on a regular basis to make men weaker. You know what I'm saying? Even like Jordan Peterson talked about, as a man, you should develop competition and ruthless ambition and then learn how to control it. So what is his point? Yeah, you can have all those things, but then you need to have self-control. And I'm not telling you to be a ruthless competitor or have a ruthless amount of ambition. I'm just talking about what his is. Because we in this flesh, and what do we have to learn how to do? Control it. You know what I'm talking about? You have to learn how to know how to govern yourself. You got to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. But the point is being a man. Because at the end of the day, men are competitive. Men are aggressive. You know what I'm talking about? See, a lot of people want men to be docile. I've been telling y'all this for a long time. A lot of women want men to be women. You want them to be women. You want him to be a man when he's called to be a man, but interact with you like your girlfriend when you want him to do that. That's not how it works. Because see, we were having this conversation, man, and they were talking about everybody got male and female. And I think I mentioned that. I mentioned that to y'all about the wisdom part. Everybody ain't got no male and female. I told her straight up down, but I feel like my mama had a son. If she wanted to hold, she could have had a girl for that. And she did. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't no male and female. Ain't no man got no femininity in him. That's learned behavior. You teach that to a boy, and ain't no boy born, and he got a feminine side in him. You crazy as hell. You know that's disrespectful to the Lord. Because then, if that's the case, then y'all saying Yahushua had a feminine side. He had to touch into his emotions. He had to get into it. You see how dumb that's? What's the yin and the yang? All y'all doing is taking elements of the doctrines of false gods and idols and trying to mix it with Yahuwah. As a man, you should be offended if somebody told you had a feminine side. That's disrespect to my father, my grandfather, and every man in my progeny. Because what you're trying to say is one of my fathers birthed a pussy. And that ain't what he did. We men over here. That don't mean we talking about we tough guys. That mean we men, because men have to be ready to stand up and die for things. You know what I'm saying? You got to be, you know what I say, right? You understand, man, that men go out here and live most men in this country, because most men don't go out and do things for themselves, even though they may have a family. They don't go out and say, I'm building this and doing this for me, and then they benefit off of me. Most men are going out here living their lives for their wives and their kids, giving up their lives for their wives and their kids. You know how many men out here doing stuff that they don't care to do or like to do or risk their lives for ungrateful, disrespectful, rude, indignant women and bastard babies who don't listen? I say they bastards because they don't take correction, not because they're not his. And he get up and go to work every day to do this for a family that's rude as hell, ungrateful, unappreciative, and disrespectful. You know what I'm talking about? And you know what they had a nerve to say men in this country are doing? They oppressing women. How is a nigga making $55,000 a year oppressing somebody? He oppressed himself. He just don't know it. You think a nigga working at McDonald's, you think a nigga who got an old lady working at McDonald's, you think he going home oppressing her? The only thing he pressing on her is them bag of burgers he brought home from his ship. Here's dinner. Seriously, like he ain't got enough imping in his pimping to be able to get a woman to do what he want her to do without physically touching her. You know what I'm saying? He get frustrated because he want to beat her up. You know what I'm saying? That's when you find your best shoe, right? You know what I'm saying? You put it on tight on real tight. You know what I'm saying? Kick that nigga right in his nuts and run out the house. Never come back. Don't even send for your stuff. I buy new clothes. I get something from the Goodwill. Never come back. But you make sure you give him a good. He put his hands on you. You make sure you catch him with your favorite pair of shoes, the best shoe, boot preferably if you're going on some. You know what I'm saying? If you got a pair of butters, you know what I'm talking about. Don't leave the laces loose. Tie them up tight. You know what I'm talking about? Look how you looking. You don't kick somebody in the nuts with them Timbs on there. Why you be looking like you be on cocaine? You looking like this?
Yeah, that's not like time up tight.
They don't do you worry about the boots? You worry about kicking this nigga nuts? This nigga bugging. Damn them boots. We tying these boots up tight to kick this nigga nuts off. I'm telling you, lady, man, that nigga put his hands on you. You know what I'm saying? You just wait, let him think it's cool. You get your best pair of shoes, you tie them holes up real tight. You say, baby, come here, let me talk to you. I didn't want to get you know how much I look at that nigga dead in his nuts. And run. Because he ain't gonna be able to do nothing at least 5 to 10 minutes. If you get a good kick, good square one, he ain't moving. I promise you that. You know what I'm talking about? And every man in here can tell you that. Well, if you take a good blow to your testicles, see, y'all might could get kicked in y'all lower regions, and it'll hurt, but you might still be able to move around a little bit. Boy, ain't no man going nowhere if you kick him in his groin. You kick him in his groin, he ain't going nowhere. I promise you that. That nigga, the first thing he gonna do is he gonna look like this. Really, his mind, he'll because he gonna be in shock and he gonna try to catch a breath because he gonna be in so much pain and he literally gonna drop to his knees if the blow to his groin is strong enough. He gonna drop to his knee. In my line, if he catch you in the knee, he gonna drop dead to his knees. Dead to him. Man, I'm being ever so serious, boy. You put their hands on y'all, man. Y'all make sure y'all kick that nigga in the nuts and run. Don't stay around that fooling with no nigga put his hands on you. You make sure you give him something to remember you by before you flee. But I tell you this here, if you flee and you go back around there, I hope he make both of your eyes look like roast beef. You know what I'm talking about? I hope he put a knot on the back of your head. You know what I'm talking about? I hope he break your elbow and your forearm because you're stupid. You ain't had no business going back around there. Harry said he might throw up. I mean that though, man. Man put his hands on you, ain't nothing to discuss. Ain't no baby, we could make it right. Ain't no I'm sorry. Ain't no none of that. I'm telling you right now, especially if he say you in the word, God ain't in it. You know what I'm talking about? He can get better. Well, I hope he gonna get better at beating you up. You want to go back around there for round 2, nigga? When you playing Mike Tyson punch out? This ain't the UFC, nigga. Forfeit and go away. I'm telling you right now, especially if he slapped you, he ain't got no respect for you. Don't come back around. Don't go back around now. That's what she said. She said she went to bed, and the next morning she had the locks changed on the house, and she put his stuff outside the door. I'm telling you right now, he slapped you, that nigga light as hell. Shut up, ho. Bah. Don't deal with it. Leave. I know I'm saying it with a humor tone, but I'm being ever so serious. Leave. Don't fool with that nigga. You know what I'm talking about? That he ain't got no respect for you. Especially if he say he in the word. Because we notice it. But if this nigga in the word and he put the hands on you and you think God in him and God with him, I hope that nigga beat you to a pulp because you stupid. You know what I'm talking about? Nah, because if you've been sitting around listening to the word and you say you know the word, just because you're a woman don't mean you don't know no word. It's some women out here know the word, got a better understanding of what been preached to them than some men do. But you ain't got to have no great understanding to know Yahuwah about a lot of things. Beating on women ain't one of them. You know what I'm talking about? Putting hands on women ain't one of them. That ain't nothing that he condone. That ain't nothing that he promote. That ain't nothing that he stamp. And I'm telling y'all right now, as a woman, if you dealing with a nigga and he say he understand the word, he serve Yahuwah or Yahuwah with him, and he put his hands on you, God ain't with him. Leave. If you stay around there, you gonna get everything Satan got for you. You know what I'm talking about?
That goes for the nigga that was on Clubhouse.
Absolutely.
They're talking about we should go back to beating women.
Yeah, talking about go back to beating women. It's crazy. Nigga, Yahudim ain't never beat no women. No, that nigga was serious. That's what Barry just said. That be the alphabet camp. Man, you got rules out here who tell them, teach women, man, they can hit them and they can beat them. Then you got brews around here lose self-control and hit their old lady up. I'm sorry. Want to pray. Don't pray with me, nigga. You ain't being heard. You ain't being heard, nigga. Man, if that nigga put his hands on you, he talking about, baby, let's pray. That nigga ain't being heard. And you got to be dumb as a box of rocks to think God listening to him. I know he hit me, but I know the Lord will hear him. Yeah, you ought to go to hell with him for being stupid. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm telling you this here, don't be stupid and let your emotions get in the way. Leave that rotten bastard alone. May his testicles shrivel up. May his penis fall off in his sleep. May he wake up and dogs lick his nipples continually. You know what I'm talking about? Everywhere he go, it's just a dog licking it. May his bowels be loose. May his shoes don't to die. I want him to have a miserable life. I want him to walk away every day he get diarrhea. You know what I'm talking about? Everywhere he can't get nothing popping because he always got to go to the bathroom. You rotten bastard, you. Maybe you'll learn to keep your hands to yourself. I hope you become impotent and get erectile dysfunction. That you never have pleasure again in your life. That the only time that your loins work is when you seek to touch yourself, so you can already condemn yourself even more because you were homosexual, because you get aroused by the touch of a man. I mean every word of that. Y'all think I'm playing, man. We don't agree with none of that. We don't agree with nobody come out there represent you who are beating on no woman. And we don't, and man, that's male or female. We don't respect, because we already know ain't no woman got no business putting her hands on no man. And we don't got no respect for nobody who say they represent you and they around here whooping and beating and abusing children. You know what I'm saying? We don't agree with none of that. We don't agree with none of that. And people can feel how they want to feel about that. We don't rock with none of that. Take it how you want. Take it how you want. We don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? We ain't co-signing it, and we ain't co-signing nobody who do it. And that's what people bigger problem is. And people be on that, and a lot of people in the word be turning their head to it, and they know these dudes be doing it. You know what I'm talking about? No, he around here drop kicking that woman in the mouth. That's why I say, man, put that shoes on, kick him in the nuts, leave. Kick him in the nuts before you leave. Don't be like that lady in the movie we watched the other day. Her husband killed her, but I knew he was gonna kill her. because she was having sex with another man. Don't do that. Please don't do that, because one of these niggas might kill you. Some of these niggas crazy. That's why I tell you, leave them niggas alone. When you see the crazy, go. You know what I'm saying? Just go. Don't stick around with no crazy nigga. Don't stick around with them niggas like, he flies off the handle a little bit. You know what I'm saying? See, that's why we got to tell Sippy to go, because you beating him. Why you keep looking at that? He said you beating him. Didn't you say that? Yeah, when he was talking about you not physically accosting him. Roll your eyes again, nigga. See, you trying to get a whooping in front of your friends. That's what you trying to do, because you're hard-headed, stubborn, you're rebellious, repugnant. But you looking at him for? Looks like she gave you that eye. Well, she gonna beat you in the car. She gonna beat you in the car. You make sure you wear your good shades so we can't see it, because I'm gonna laugh at you. You shaking your head, but I can tell, like I said, see, you one of them nice ladies. Come here, baby. You hit the nigga right here. So you hit him with this. See, you know what I'm saying? You look like you one of them types, because you look like you took karate. You took karate. That's a lie. You hug niggas every day. Yeah, you weren't ready for that, but so you don't put your hands on people? Yeah, Sydney say otherwise. We watching, man. It's okay, man. You can blink, bro. We can help you out. I call TK Waters. So you look like one of the people. You look like you go on the cell block. Oh, she's so nice. Beating up everybody. Give me your fruit cup. Stabbing nigga. You act like you scared. She ain't scared for real. Don't let her fool you.
I'm about to say, as soon as somebody try and try her, you're gonna see the other side.
It's like this here, the New York nigga come out, Brooklyn nigga. Brownsville. That's where you from, man.
I used to live there, but it's not wrong.
Well, where you from? You ain't from no Bed-Stuy, nigga. You from the new Bed-Stuy. Which one was worse, Brownsville or Bed-Stuy? I know it. That's what the gangster guy put in that chat. We done heard about it. Isaiah 42, man. We gotta get out of here. They were killing around that, wasn't it? Yeah, all those sides. I already know about them niggas. Them niggas living. Them niggas living real fast. 42 and 20. Seeing many things, but not observe, not opening the ears, but he hear not. Who is well pleased for his righteousness' sake? He will magnify the law. He will make it honorable. See, verse 22 is another verse that brothers like to use to say that's why we all locked up. Read verse 22 for me, Sylvia, while I go through the verses for it.
But this, a people robbed and spoiled, all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses.
See, a lot of brews like to come out here and say, see, this right here, that's why all our people in jail. See, this prophesying of that. But listen, right, he said that people are robbed and spoiled. What's robbed is pizzazz. They're spoiled, they're plunder. They're taken as a spoil. What is spoiled? Spoiled is shasa. Again, they're being plundered. What did he tell you that the thief came to do? To steal, kill, and destroy. They are snared, which is to ensnare and trap. That is pakak. Now, what are holes? Which is her, which is a hole. The crevice or the cell of a prison, the crevice of a serpent, the cell of a prison. So when you're looking at, and they're hid in prison houses. Prison here is kalei, which is imprisonment, confinement, restraint. They're in a house or bot of restraint. He's saying they are hid. They are for a prey, and none deliver for a spoil. None say restore. Well, what is restore? That's shoe. That's to return. So nobody says to return. Nobody's telling to repent. He say none delivers. What is deliver? That's Nasal. Nobody rescues or deliver them from death. And he also says that therefore a prey. What is prey? Booze, spoil, booty, robbery, spoiling. So he said, who among you will give ear to this and will hearken and hear for the time to come? Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Yasharal to robbers? Did not Yahuwah? He against whom he have sinned, they will not walk in his ways, neither will they obedient unto his law. And we talked about that Wednesday. Who gave Yahushua over to the spoilers and the robbers? His father did. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's what the verse 24 is asking. So when you look at his people are robbed and spoiled and they're snared in holes, Yahushua was taken, they robbed him, spoiled him of his goods, because remember they cast lots for his garments. Remember they put him in Caphia's house, which lines up with Jeremiah when he was in the prison house, and there was nobody to save him. He was a spoil, and there was nobody to say, return or stop. Because when Pilate said to stop, what did they say? Let me get on. Let his blood be on our children's children. Therefore, he had poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle. He set him on fire round about, yet he knew not, and it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart, because that's when he in the furnace of affliction. But see, all of this is being mentioned when he say Yahuwah is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. And I'm gonna give a brief one, and we ain't even get to Job. Y'all willing to do it tomorrow. Remember, he said, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. Pleased is kafas, and that which he delights. Righteousness is sadak. So he's going to delight for his righteousness' sake. We're going to look at something in Jeremiah 23 that pertains to righteousness' sake. This pertains to that word of faith, which we discussed earlier when we were talking about Deuteronomy 30. He said he will magnify the law. He will make it honorable. Magnify as Gadol. He's going to make it become great. He did not say that he shall be called great and he shall be called the son of the highest. Ain't that what he told Mary? So he's going to be pleased for his righteousness' sake. He's going to make great the law or the Torah. We know that Yahushua is the law made flesh, and he's going to make it honorable, which is adar, to be majestic, to be noble, to be glorious, to be magnificent. And we're going to look at that, and we'll see what that means in great detail, because it's going to go along with what I wanted to look at in Job too. Because we're going to see something what he said. Because we also going to talk about what Job's wife asked him to do, which was what? Curse God and die, or to blaspheme, renounce and reject Yahuwah so that you could perish. And what we'll be looking at when we come into that, so again, if you talk about creation of Yahuwah, so a lot of things come into that, and we'll see that, and also talking about he'll make the law and magnify it, because he said, that the lamb was slain from what? Foundation of the world. You know what I'm talking about? So things were already set in heaven on how things should be, as far as being made honorable. The law was already magnified from the beginning. So when the creation came, the law was being magnified then, because and made honorable then, because what did it? It was a word. So then when he comes back in return, he's going to do it. He's going to be well pleased for his righteousness' sake. The law will be magnified and made honorable again at his return, which again will happen with the other part, like we look in Genesis 8:22, about when a new heaven, a new earth is made and what things get done. Also, just to close that out, is for this sanctification of the house. We could look at that in regards to all things are said and done and a new heaven, a new earth is made. That would be the eighth day of tabernacles for the sanctification or the dedication of the house. You know what I'm talking about? And we could look at it as eighth day of tabernacles, even if he don't come back on the eighth day of tabernacles, of the sanctification, the dedication of the house, by gathering up the body of believers and bringing Yahushua the word, man. I appreciate y'all all the time this evening. Bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, man. Yahuwah willing, man. We'll be back at it on the morrow at about 3:30. Praise you indeed, Brother Nate. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, man, we'll be back at it. Y'all willing, we'll get right into Job 2 and that Isaiah 42 and 21, man. You know what I'm saying? Make it do what it do. Do weigh and consider. All it is here. And also, again, and I'm only mentioning this here because, Misha was in there when we were talking about that earlier. You know what I'm saying? I don't see Bella now. But ladies, don't be so hard on yourself and do stuff to make your day easier. And honestly, if you feel like you have a problem with structuring and ordering your day, then let your old man know about that so you can sit down together, put a plan together so you don't overwhelm yourself by procrastinating and pushing stuff off till later in the day. You know what I'm talking about? And because I know that's what some of y'all do, and then you just feel like your work, my job never ends. Your job could end. You put it off till later. You know what I'm talking about? Because would you rather go ahead and knock it out in the daytime when everybody else working, so when nighttime you ain't got to get up and do nothing? Or would you, because see, that'd be the trade-off. Because ain't none of y'all just working straight all day. Like from the time you get it, because like I said, right, because then we were talking about this aspect, especially with richer women who stay at home. Well, if you sending your kids off to school, man, well, you ain't doing that much damn work. You can tell that lie to somebody else. Ain't nobody there. You know what I'm talking about? And you know what a lot of them women be doing, especially if they man got a little bit of paper, waiting on the kid to go to school. They sipping on wine, watching TV, talking and yapping to their friends about whatever. Because most of them ain't got them doing nothing. So if you sending them turned off to school, what the hell is you doing? What is you cleaning? Ain't nobody home. Because I would wager you would have already done. Who you cooking for? You just cooking spreads for lunch at the middle of the day for open air? You know what I'm saying? That's just being honest. Let's not live in no fantasy world like this here. Because number one, if you're a clean woman, emphasis on if. If you're a clean woman, you ain't got to clean your house from top to bottom every day. So it ain't like you're doing a deep clean every day. You know what I'm talking about? Now, if you're a filthy woman, maybe you do off ceiling fans, blades, wiping off that. You ain't doing what Michael do for a living every day. You ain't putting the barkeep cleaner in the toilet, in the bathtub. How many of y'all baseboards every day? Exactly. Because don't nobody like these baseboards. Niggas who clean for a living don't like to do baseboards. Don't nobody like baseboards. You know why? You know why? Why? Exactly. They hurt your knee. That's what you get a duster for. Better put up on game. Nigga, we got a nice little duster. Rub that nigga through that. Nigga, we got a nice little duster. Rub that nigga through that thing, man. I ain't been in no. Been in that junk hurt, boy. I hate them damn things, man. Well, how you clean?
I just over it. And I just scoop myself against them.
So you just hurting your back, rub your butt on the people wall. Leaving fart on them people wall. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest with you. If you sitting them turn, see now, we were talking about that earlier too. Now, oh, don't get me wrong. If you got churned under 4, especially multiple of them in the house with you, or you catching wreck. You know what I'm saying? One, you can manage. You know what I'm talking about? But if it's 2, 3 of them, that's hell. 3 and above, you know what I'm saying? You gonna need the Lord. You don't need the Lord because they're gonna be the reason being because they're gonna be moving and grooving. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be exploring. They're gonna be this, that, and the third. It's not like they just being horrible children. But it's like Little Mermaid, man. It's a whole new world of them niggas, man. They like to see everything. I wonder what this does. Like that baby in there, she like to throw stuff on the floor to hear the noise. She just want to hear. She literally wants to hear what type of sound does this make. It's not even on some type of let me break it. Like this nigga realized if I drop something on the floor, it makes a noise. So now I'm intrigued with everything. What type of noise would it make? See, some people are looking at, wow, why they be doing this stuff? But you're not actually paying attention to the inquisitive nature of that particular child on why they're doing that because they done put something 2 and 2 together. This makes noise. You know what I'm talking about? But see, this is what because we were talking about it earlier. You know how I feel about that. I ain't with that nigga raising. Sometimes you got to pay attention to your child and actually use some discernment on why they doing what they doing, and then you could figure something out, and then you could foster and develop something that they could have an interest or talent in as they age. You know what I'm talking about? And you don't actually discourage because all that is that's experiment. Oh, this makes noise. See, one thing what Black people do is when a child is doing what a child it does, which is trying to understand this environment and possibly develop and cultivate talents or skills that they have, we stamp it out. Oh, you throwing my stuff, you breaking this stuff and all this. Nigga, what's wrong with you? Misha asked me, she said, do you think it was slavery? I don't think it'd be slavery. I just be thinking a lot of these niggas rotten and sour because their life ain't what they wanted to be, and they take it out on them turn. Or they manifesting what they people did to them on their turn because they think that's how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm talking about? But some stuff you just can't let them go wild. You know, they can't be jumping off no doggone furniture talking about they want to be a dentist. I'm gonna clothesline you, nigga. And God knows don't write on my walls because I'm gonna punch your face off and then I'm gonna sew it back on. You know what I'm talking about? Then I'm gonna write on you, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Write on my damn wall. What's wrong with you? Lil Muffin got in trouble decent for that. That nigga was sad. She couldn't do nothing for a good little minute, writing on doors. He say, "What you writing on the door for?" "I wanted to draw." "You got a room full of damn drawing paper, books and books of it." You say, "I'm gonna draw on the door." I said, "We ought to draw a chalk outline for you and lay you in it. Let you know you draw on something else in here. That way you going to the Duval County Medical Examiner's office." What's wrong with you? You know what I'm talking about? Got time for that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? You want to draw on something, nigga, you take you to art class right in my house. You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, you want to, if they did something like that, you want to take that and foster that more constructively. Because one thing about children and women too, they don't have nothing, no appreciation for nothing they didn't work for. You know what I'm saying? All y'all know it. When you had shoes your people bought you, you ain't take care of them damn shoes.
I'm about to say that shoes, absolutely.
No. Most children like to say you don't have a real great appreciation to it till you went and work for it. That mean y'all just because y'all outliers don't mean you the norm.
I was like, feel like a parent, like, well, I make us clean their shoes.
I mean, but see, that's you wrapping that in them. But I'm talking about the average. But plus, Muffin don't live how we live. Muffin didn't get to go outside and play. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't play with reckless abandon. From the time, especially in the summertime, we would go outside from 9 o'clock in the morning and never return till the sun went down.
What? Christian, he's been in the teachers like shoes. I was thinking, but this that didn't have to you go put your play clothes on. It wasn't no.
No, I'm just saying in general because they didn't have to work for it. But one thing about it though, when you started working for your stuff and you paid for it, you thought about them hours you spent making them McDonald's hamburgers. Look at you. You worked at McDonald's?
She just put it whole tight. I haven't worked this long. So it makes me think before I make a big purchase. I'm like, I put in hours
just to be, but you know, but see, you're gonna take care of your stuff when you gotta pay for it. See, when you ain't had to pay for it, you don't really appreciate it and treat it the same as if you worked for it. You know what I'm talking about? Because you earned it. You know what you did to get it. But it ain't. You always talking about you, nigga. The world don't revolve around you, nigga. Man, we'll get this nigga out of here. Take her with you. Y'all like to beat on me. I'll let you. The baby be all right. You know what I'm saying? We got to. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? She'll be weaned off it anyway. We're going to be in here eating hamburgers and hot dogs. That's what you got in here watching. Y'all going to show come out making hot dogs. They teaching that baby how to eat blizzards. They is. You seen it? No. I'm telling you they is. Talking about bananas and yummy, and here come a blizzard. They know they really got hot dogs on the doggone thing. I literally talking about let's make a hot dog. That's what I said. What was a baby need a hot dog for? Entertainment. It's never entertainment.
It's funny though, because Stanley put me on this show with Sopranos.
It's never entertainment. Baby like blizzard. Right. So you mean to tell me I'm the only person in here who knows what a busy bee is? Yes. So I'm the only grown person in here who knows what a busy bee is. You think about it real hard. I don't think nobody on YouTube and Clubhouse knows what a busy beaver is. A busy beaver is a fast woman. Because in the 90s, they would call a woman's groin a beaver. So if she had a busy beaver, she was a busy woman with her loin. Dang. that was clear. Shayla said she knew. Well, she heard a lot of this. I ain't never heard of that, so I'm like, oh, that's all. I mean, that's because you don't drive trucks. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, you don't know what a lot lizard is? A lot lizard is a prostitute at a truck stop. I knew truck drivers. And she said, like Bella said, beavers work fast. So a busy beaver, she getting off. But like I said, that's what they call it. Like I got a song, Ice Cube song on my phone right now. He be like, you go need to clean out your beaver. You know what I'm talking about? Because they would call it because of the puke, all that. It was. They had a lot of slang for a lot of things depending on where you were from.
It's true.
Depending on where you were from. Yeah, the way you were from. Sister Kelly say at the post office, she said they call them dock rats. Because I forgot, it do be women posted up trying to get because the postman got benefits. That's a federal job.
I had a friend that said that she would go down to the base and open a prison
Yeah.
just to match with men
in the Navy. That's a busy beaver.
I was like, wow. And she had a car. I was like, how do you get there?
Uber. She Ubering with the hopes of getting a man who got benefits.
She was like, I'm trying to get that.
Bella say at factories they got a name for women, but she can't think of it.
Yeah, that's what the Dames point is known for. Dames for the women that was going.
Oh yeah.
The men.
Yeah, they was when they got off the ship. That's definitely why that's called that over there in Arlington.
I only knew that because
No, I had looked that up on Wikipedia and it says that.
Yeah, I learned that when this guy was giving us tours.
Yeah, that's why they call it the Dames Point, because that's where the Navy docked at one time, and then that's a port. So the women would go down there to catch a dude, because the ports are right there. Go right over there, try to catch him a man. You know what I'm saying? This is the point where the dames are. Is basically this is where the prostitutes. That's the world we live in. Hey man, I didn't create it. I'm just here. You know what I'm talking about? So it is what it is. That's how you know that nigga wasn't getting no hoes, because that is not what you tell a woman to do. Go sit at a bar with a drink and blink your eyes and hope to get them.
Yeah, they go to the country club and all that.
But they just ain't sitting at the bar, they mingling.
I have a client that she told me that's how she met her husband.
She said women on the men with cars was called car booty. That's probably Chicago's thing, because down here they just were called a whore.
A who booty?
A car booty. In Texas they call them blockers. You know what I'm saying? But every city don't have a slang for that. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, down here she's a maggot. See, now that's something for Jacksonville. They call them a foot dragger. That's a chick who got dirty feet. She always dragging her feet when she walk. Ain't nothing worse thing in the world than a maggot hoe who drag her feet when she walk. Loud, popping her gums. All you want to do is get a baseball bat and strike her at the tip of her nose. Yeah. Dragging her feet. Jay say buckle bunnies for cowboys.
Cowboys? They got cowboys.
Shoot, they might do, man. Hey, at the end of the day, it's people be doing all types of things. Buckle bunnies. Because this is something, right? We were talking, because women be lying, right? I told you before. You ain't never seen a whole bunch of men posted up at a Rihanna concert. Like, I got penis for you. Let me go back to your hotel with you. Well, you got a multitude of women. I don't care who's performing, trying to find that hotel. To sell herself for the night. Boy, Bow Wow is not washed up. That nigga has been thrown away. You know what I'm talking about? B2K has no relevancy anywhere on the planet except for young girls who were lusting after them, who are now built like a two-door Samsung refrigerator. You know what I'm talking about? Possibly built like a 1975 deep freezer. Oh, she said back in the day, if a female wore K-Swiss, they was considered to be a hoe. Not in Jacksonville. But that's in Chicago. That's in Chicago. I mean, but that's in Jacksonville. But in Chicago, that junk might have been different. You know what I'm saying? It's certain that might have been a part of a whole uniform.
Oh yeah, maybe that.
Damn. And you were wearing that little jacket too with the hoodie. They say any woman who wore that baby fat jacket with the hood was either you know what I'm saying, was either hunching a lot or fought with hot Cheetos in her hand. Fighting. In a Fruitopia. What's up, Hope? Yeah, that's what you were doing. You was in there fighting them girls with that baby fat jacket on. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I'm just tripping, man. I appreciate everybody though, but hey man, hey, there ain't nothing wrong with it. I mean, I could have cut junk off. I didn't get it going. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, hey man, one thing I know in life, man, I don't give a damn if you don't think none of my jokes funny. I tell them. But everybody needs a laugh. The world hard enough. You need 3 things in life. Maybe 4. Maybe even 5 if it's a good day. You know what I'm saying? You definitely need your hoop. You definitely need a good family unit to lean on. You know what I'm talking about? And a good laugh, because this world be hard, man. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no need to be walking around here mad with your face balled up. Because, you could walk down the street and see an ugly nigga and you could be hit. You know what I'm talking about? Like, straight up and down. But some of y'all done seen some people, boy, we were looking at that nigga like, imagine if you had to live his life. You know what I'm saying? That nigga said apple bottom. How many you would walk around here with apple bottoms on?
I didn't really care for urban clothes.
Oh, that's right. She thought she was Caucasian.
No, I didn't. I didn't like the style.
I never cared for urban clothing. I wore house. What's the difference? I mean, both of them was expensive.
Definitely.
Lies you tell. You know how much that damn platinum FUBU costs? Man, I had a pair of Harlem Globetrotter shorts and a Fat Albert. I paid $100 a piece for both. You know how much that damn iceberg cost? The t-shirts was $120. That junk was not cheap, nigga. You know what I'm saying, man? Oh, I ain't wearing no Rockwell. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't wear the shirts because the shirts were atrocious. You know what I'm saying? I can wear anybody them. But them shirts, them need to keep all that, man. I wore a polo. Yeah, I ain't wearing no, I ain't wearing none of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what y'all look at Civic like he used to walk around here with Civic used to like he wear boat shoes and dress pants. You know? I'm trying to see. I'm just going out to see if I was accurate. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't no telling. He from Florida. And he from Massachusetts at that.
I think said regular clothes. No. Listen, y'all. And we just kicking it. This was something we would do if y'all was here in the flesh. Bella said, "Don't hate on the Sperry's. I had one pair when I got out of prison. I wish I would have bought sneakers. The shoes hurt my feet. Because it was the only shoes I had when I got out of prison." Now we say this because every city had their own thing. Like in the 90s, when I was in high school, niggas wore duck head. They still sell duck head. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about duck head, polos, shorts, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Shoes might be different. Niggas wore Reeboks. And then you know what I'm talking about? And niggas wore New River. See, this is before Heel Figure and Nautica and all that got popular in the city. Like it had already been out. New River was sold at a store in a Regency called J. Riggins. You know what I'm talking about? And niggas in the city wore New River. So they would have New River t-shirts or polo shirts, and then they made shorts. And then at that time, niggas wore, like, you might have burgundy shorts, green shorts, yellow. You know what I'm saying? Niggas wore colors. But this was at a time people were still wearing cross colors.
Niggas still wear colors.
Well, I don't see people, I don't really see people wearing green, orange, and yellow pants like that. But I don't get out much either.
Definitely high school.
You know what I'm saying? By the time I got to like 9th grade, niggas went to wearing heel figure all the time. You know what I'm saying? Then say in the late 90s down here, that's when niggas. Because I was like the only nigga wearing Clarks. Everybody else wore Joes. I'm like, bro, I like the suede. Leather. And the gum bottom. Those don't have the gum bottom. I like stick with that.
That's why they was wearing color, man. Joe had these orange Joes.
Yeah, Joes did have more colors than Clarks was making at the time. Yeah, they definitely did. Jay said she was glad when Coochie went away.
Oh yeah, I remember Coochie. They had a comeback.
It never went away in New York City. Them niggas still wear it. Yeah, he wanted hell. He got a Bill Cosby sweater.
Oh, you know, that's what they used to wear. Oh.
And that came from Louisiana. And then niggas co-opted that from Louisiana because niggas in Louisiana were.
Yeah, that's what they got. That's from Boosie.
No, they got that. They got that from Cash Money. Yeah, yeah, they got that from Cash Money. They ain't get that from Boosie. Look at you. Y'all want to sit there and reminisce. That's what you had the baby fat jackets on, fighting them girls for them hot Cheetos. That's what you were doing. You know what I'm saying? Mike would walk around here with real tight pants on and big boots. Well, you walk around here. That is the north side I fight hoes area. Oh, Barry said they rock Buffalinos in Orlando. Some niggas did, but they ain't really wearing them. No, they like Clarks. You know what I'm saying? They like Joes. Oh. Just like what's the other one, man? That's in my brain, man. No, that ain't it. Bally's. Niggas wore Bally's in the early 90s. They wearing big in New York. Slick Rick really known for them, but you know what I'm talking about? Bally's ain't no different than Clarks, and Bally's make shoes like these here. You know what I'm saying? But some niggas change their stuff up. My junk I ain't never changed. I still pretty much wear what I always, because some niggas go with the trends. You know what I'm saying? What they wearing. I just stay the same. We feel just like Pimp C, you know. Only heel figure we really wore back in the day is he has some tech sailing type shirts. You know what I'm talking about? Which they really real hard to find. Polo shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Not sailing.
Nah. Yeah, once I got to Ralph Lauren, I just rolled. I had heel figure, but never. Yeah, just polo for me, man. You know what I'm talking about? Just rock with that. Ralph Lauren all the way going through. You know, we from the side. That's what we do. That's got to be a Chicago thing because we didn't do that down here because it's not cold enough for sweaters and beanies in the back pocket. A scully. A knit cap. Probably put it in their back pocket, but that might be a Chicago thing. You know what I'm saying? Because we were talking about that when we was in Detroit. Like one of the brothers had a Montclair jacket. You know, the Montclair jacket's fire, and they definitely work well for what they meant for. But we're like, shoot, they don't get cold enough down here for us to be spending $1,500 on no jacket. You know yeah, they're ski jackets. Oh, absolutely. But shoot, I ain't finna drop $1,500 on a jacket just to have it on because I bought it. Do y'all not know? Look here, y'all. Because I don't know what some of y'all at, but I bet it's cold and your nipples hard. You know what I'm talking about? Well, everybody knows, male or female, if you go outside and it's cold enough, that's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Act like y'all don't know that was going on. We don't got them problems. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they talking about if you remember Kango hats. You know what I'm saying? I'm not LL Cool J. I'm just messing with it. Now, it's supposed to get cold next Friday. Florida cold. That's 57 degrees for the high. You know what I'm saying? But right now, it's going to be 82 degrees. And we in mid-December. You got to thank the Lord for that. Absolutely, it's great. It's magnificent. Oh, we know that now. You say, Brother Reynolds said, I wear Kango.
Oh, yeah, Kango.
Yeah. I mean, but them bucket hats, though. Besides the other that, and you know, people wear bucket. Look at that. Boot talking about she was at Iceman and Mr. Kick stealing them people Stacey Adams. That's right. Derek had a Kango when he came over here. Oh yeah. I mean, niggas still do. That's criminal. That's yeah, them criminal outfits. Them criminal outfits. That's for y'all. Y'all like to be a criminal. You know what I'm saying? But let me get this stream on off here, man. I appreciate y'all, though, man. I love y'all, man. Bless y'all, house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. You with it, man. We pick it up tomorrow afternoon. You was out here. You look like you. Both of you niggas wore jersey dresses. That's what y'all look like. Oh, y'all on Clubhouse, man. We can rock out, man, or whatever.